The following is an exclusive special presentation from 580 WCHS.
The long arm of an excavator claws away at the walls of what once was Herbert Hoover High School. The school, which was heavily inundated with water in the 2016 flood, was condemned and will now be brought down, and all that will remain of Herbert Hoover in the end will be its memories.
Our kids are going to go to school. They're going to go to school together, and they're going to go to school in this community.
That seems like insurmountable odds, but knowing these people and knowing this area, as long as they have the funds, they'll pull it off.
Live from Elkview, West Virginia, the heart of Hoover Huskies territory, 580 WCHS proudly presents exclusive coverage of the grand opening of the all-new Herbert Hoover High School and Husky Stadium. Get ready for a journey through this remarkable day as we hear from school leaders, community figures, and the dedicated individuals who resurrected Hoover to its state-of-the-art glory. Let's head out to Husky Stadium, where our team, including Jarrett Lewis and Jeff Jenkins, are standing by as we go live to West Virginia Hall of Fame broadcaster Chris Lawrence.
Elkview, West Virginia, on the campus of the brand new Herbert Hoover High School, a sun-splashed brand new turf field below, as the pride of the Elk River has taken the field and prepares for their first performance at this brand new facility. Jarrett Lewis alongside Jeff Jenkins down on the field. Jarrett, your first impressions after seeing this facility?
Chills. It's just chills, and hearing the opener and just being here. I mean, the environment is incredible. The energy is here. There's so many people here. There were so many people here when this thing opened, when gates opened up at 2:30. So for many hours, it's just been a sea of red and blue filling up the home side of the bleachers and over by the stage. We'll talk about that at some point as well very soon. But I mean, just chills up my arms, up my legs, just everywhere. It's incredible.
Let's go down to the field. Jeff Jenkins is standing by, and let's listen in first to a little bit of the pride of the Elk River.
Thanks a lot, Chris. And the crowd has grown here, and they are filling up this new stadium. It's unbelievable, and everybody you talk to has the same reaction as Jarrett has. It's chills when you see this facility, when you see everybody who's here and the smiles on their faces. I've already talked to several people. We'll talk to a lot of people over the next couple of hours, talking about how long it's been, 7 years, and how tough it's been, but how much, Chris, it is worth it to come out with a product that they have, because this is one of these communities. As I said in the open, the pride is in their school, right? Everything circles around the school. You're exactly right, particularly the high school. And when you look out across this crowd, the home sideline is almost full to the top. A lot of people standing in the end zone, and the band is performing Country Roads Below, led by Malia Fisher, who, boy, I remember when the flood hit, she and I just took a look at her band room, and she was heartbroken. You could just tell as they were trying to salvage whatever they could. I had an opportunity to go into her band room here just a little bit ago, and a couple of the pictures, guys, that are hanging on the wall as you go into the band room were pictures that I remember seeing laying on the pavement at the old Hoover School in the sun to dry out. But they saved them, and they're hanging in that band room. Man, what heirlooms those have to be, and what artifacts those will mean to this band. They continue to perform below, and we will continue throughout the afternoon to bring you coverage. We're expecting to have
band director Mr. Nick Munoz in 1977. Today's version will feature trumpet trio Nightingale.
So they're going to play Amazing Grace here, and a former band director at Herbert Hoover is going to lead them.
And Amazing Grace is always part of the pregame ceremony here. Before they play the national anthem at Hoover, they always play Amazing Grace. pride of the Elk River. Chris Lawrence, Jeff Jenkins, Jarrett Lewis with you this afternoon. This story started back on the morning of June 23rd, 2016, when it began to rain. And by that night, the situation had reached a critical level. Let's listen back to our 580 WCHS radio coverage from that night as it happened.
Jeff Jenkins in the 580 WCHS radio newsroom with his special report. Flooding across the region, across the state of West Virginia. A man is dead in connection with flooding here in Kanawha County. It happened tonight in the Jordan Creek Road area. That's in Clendenin. A man trapped in the high water died before emergency crews could reach him.
We just been having relentless rounds of showers and thunderstorms, mainly through the heart of West Virginia, getting the hardest hit. You draw a line saying from around Ravenswood and Parkersburg, and you slice it right across east-southeast down through the Elk River Valley, including Clay County and Braxton County, then right on down into Nicholas, Webster, and as you said, spilled over the mountains over into Greenbrier County there. That's been the heaviest rain.
Some have family and friends on the other side of that small bridge in Elkview that collapsed over Little Sandy Creek, leading into a shopping plaza. It happened just off Interstate 79 Thursday night, following some of the worst flooding in Kanawha County. Shoppers can be seen on the other side, standing, sitting down in chairs, and taking pictures of the mess that sits below them. The National Guard is on its way to install a temporary bridge to get those people out and on their way, but authorities say that probably won't happen until later this afternoon. In Elkview, I'm Carrie Hudasek, 580 WCHS.
Everybody that's in the plaza can't get out of the plaza, and the gas station has been shut down. Basically, we're all just kind of stranded here in the plaza.
They were just, at the water's edge playing, and one moment the water just grabbed him and took him. 580
WCHS has learned the state DOH will close Interstate 79 in both directions within the next hour because of the ponding water conditions being too dangerous to travel. It's going to close at the 10-mile marker near the Elkview exit. The northbound lanes at the 23-mile marker in Roane County closed earlier in the evening following a mudslide.
Clendenin basically became an island. We couldn't get to Clendenin. Some of the normal tools we have weren't available.
We got houses washed away and people trapped in automobiles and people trying to swim to get out of harm's way, and it's really, really, really bad.
Kanawha County Deputy Emergency Management Director C.W. Sigmund says there have been dozens of water rescues this evening in Kanawha County.
We are still in the search and rescue mode, not property damage assessment. And we made that very clear to our people. We may, as we stand here, have someone in great distress.
It's been a long 24 hours, and the next 24 hours may not be much easier.
On June 23rd, when the rain started, and that night, pretty much this entire part of the state was underwater. But today we celebrate. As we look back, we also look forward as the new Herbert Hoover High School is open and the Elk River community has turned out to celebrate this afternoon. We got to take a break. We've got more from Elkview coming up. You're listening to live coverage on 580 WCHS, the voice of Charleston.
At Pew Furniture Warehouse Showrooms, we are unloading truck after truck. Shipments of lift chairs, baby furniture, and I mean loads of baby furniture. Amish-made bedrooms and dining rooms. When buying Amish furniture, you can have it just the way you want. Our made in West Virginia Almost Heaven mattresses. Don't forget these mattresses are flippable. We also carry a good selection of power bases and hybrid mattresses. Check out our selection of sofas, reclining furniture, and sleeper sofas, made here in the USA. We are offering an additional 10% off store-wide on the tagged price, excluding clearance items. Clearance area changes weekly. Buy it today and have it in your home tomorrow. We offer 12 months same as cash to qualified buyers. Pew Furniture Warehouse Showrooms, 1320 Smith Street, Charleston. Open Monday through Friday, 10 to 5:30, Saturday, 10 to 5, Sunday closed.
If you've seen the clubhouse at Stonewall Jackson Resort, you've seen Axton Construction. If you've seen the Greenbrier Chapel, you've seen Axton Construction. If you've seen the climate-controlled U-Haul storage facility in St. Albans, you've seen Axton Construction. For sports, transportation, hotels, and restaurants, any industry, make your next project Axton Built, the standard of quality for generations. At 1700 State Route 34 in Hurricane and online at axtonconstruction.com.
I received a call the other day from a woman. Her voice was shaking. She needed help. Her husband tragically was unable to call himself, but he had told her previously, if anything ever happens to me, call Morgan & Morgan. I was humbled and proud. And what higher honor could we receive than protecting someone's family after they're gone? Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Office 222 Capitol Street, Charleston. Cases will be handled by West Virginia licensed attorneys. The attorney in this ad is not licensed in West Virginia. ForThePeople.com.
We welcome you back to 580 WCHS. Chris Lawrence, Jeff Jenkins, and Jarrett Lewis, and we're broadcasting live from the brand new Herbert Hoover High School football stadium called Husky Stadium. You would know this, Jarrett, but the old stadium was called Joe Kelley Field, named after the legendary coach of Hoover for many, many years. And then when they came up here, I asked them, I said, why didn't they call this Joe Kelley Field? And they said, well, it was just fresh start. And Joe Kelley Field is still there, and I think they're using it for a middle school field or for their midget league program here. But this one doesn't have a name, and who knows if they will ever give it one.
I think Husky Stadium kind of works. It's got a nice ring to it. It looks good. I mean, the field is just magnificent. We were talking earlier. We were on the field earlier, just kind of taking it all in. It was hot down there, but I mean, just it's such a neat environment. The field is just second to none when you consider other stadiums, other football stadiums from high schools across the state. I mean, this one is just pristine, and it's going to look really good when these players end up on the field later this afternoon.
To kind of give you a description of the field, obviously it's turf, obviously it's green, and with the white numbers and hash marks, and it's on each end, the end zone and the sideline, there's a 3-foot stripe of red all the way around on both end zone, both ends of the field. The end zone itself is blue, and it has on one end Hoover in white letters, the other end has Huskies in white letters. Then from the 25 to the 25 on either side of the field, there's a wide white stripe that continues, and on that stripe at midfield on each side, it reads the river, because that's obviously a tip of the hat to this community that lies along the Elk River. And then there's the double HH in red that is on the center of the field, which is the logo of Herbert Hoover High School. It's also lined off with the soccer markings, the yellow lines, and of course you're going to have to help me out, Jared. I don't know soccer, but whatever that line is, that crease I think they call out there, that's at about the 8-yard line. If I had my old partner Tom here, he would know because he's a soccer guy. But at any rate, it's a fantastic facility both for football, for soccer, for band, for whatever you're going to be watching here. And I'm envious just watching it, and I don't even play ball anymore.
No, it sure is. It is quite a sight to see. We have a perfect view up here in the press box, which the press box, we got to mention that, is also pretty pristine as well. We're just walking through here. My first impression, you had been here before, but there's been some progress even before your last time that you were here, and just my first impressions driving up, seeing the school at first, and then in the distance you can see this stadium that has a beautiful environment that surrounds it, plenty of hills on each end with lines of trees that just kind of put out a really nice background behind the school and behind this football stadium.
It's a full-size campus. It is a true high school campus. In fact, it looks like a small college campus, but the school is across the road from where we are positioned. I guess we're on the highest point on the campus property here. We can actually see the roof of the gymnasium over by the school. It has a gymnasium and then an alternate gymnasium. It has a state-of-the-art band room that I was in earlier and a choral room. Those are separated. The performing arts are separated away from the academic part. It has, unlike a traditional library, it has an actual media center, more than just a library. It's an actual media center where where kids can, in the 21st century classroom. It's not the library that I remember.
No, it's not. It's
not at all.
It's not just books. You have the internet to your disposal. You have things that you can search online very quickly and use. So yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about everything out here on the football field, but inside that school, there's also some pretty advanced technology and things for the use of the students.
Some beautiful classrooms, obviously traditional classrooms there, but they have all the state-of-the-art technology in them. And there's even an industrial arts department, because the students here at Hoover have a really strong tradition, particularly in their carpentry shop. They make a lot of materials. They've made things that are now in the state Supreme Courts. They've made things that the desk that the State Board of Education uses was built by students here at Herbert Hoover. And, man, that was when they were in the old school. Imagine what they're going to be able to do with this state-of-the-art facility. I tell you what, I'm looking down on the field, and they are going to do the ribbon-cutting ceremony in the center of the field, but the dedication is going to be happening down on the end of the end zone to my left. They continue to assemble down there. This will be emceed this afternoon by Clendon and Mayor Kay Summers. And as I look down, it looks like Principal Mike Kelley, who's got to be the most tired man in this building. That man, for the last 3 weeks, has had to make more decisions than any human should have had to. And, in fact, for the last 7 years, has really worked his rear end off to get to this day. Also speaking as part of this ceremony, I see U.S. Senator Joe Manchin is there, U.S. Senator Shelly Capito, and the superintendent of Kanawha County Schools, Dr. Williams, is there as well. I don't know if Brad Paisley will speak. We're told that he might, so I think that might be a game time decision there, Jarrett.
I think so too. Yeah, there's a whole line of speakers. There's a lot of people, a lot of important, well-known, popular people of this state that have joined us here in Elkview, and it's quite a sight to see everybody gathered here today.
Well, it looks like they're getting everything together down there. I tell you what we'll do, since we've got an opportunity here. Producer Jeff Petty back at control. Hollywood, let's take a break here, and we'll come back and we'll go to the podium in just a moment. Okay? Back on in a moment on 580 WCHS, the voice of Charleston.
The 7-year celebration continues in Walker Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Hurricane. Walker is 7 years strong, and the deals, well, they just keep getting better. If a new truck is what you need, Gene and Ryan have the deal that you've been waiting for. You can find a new 2023 Ram 1500 Crew Cab starting at just $39,999. Yeah, that's right, a new full-size truck for under $40,000. Now, if you're thinking more along the lines of a pre-owned truck, don't worry, because Walker has that too. As a matter of fact, they're stocked deeper than they've been in years, and all of their pre-owned vehicles are marked down and ready to move. You know you're going to find the best deal possible at Walker Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, because Gene and Ryan built their business the old-fashioned way by making friends. There are no gimmicks or games at Walker, just honest, fair deals. So find the truck that you've been looking for and make that short 20-minute drive from Charleston or Huntington to Walker Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Just off the Hurricane exit of I-64, Walker Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, making friends one deal at a time.
If you've seen the Mardi Gras Casino and Resort in Crosslades, you've seen Axton Construction. If you've seen the Conference Center at Adventures on the Gorge, you've seen Axton Construction. If you've seen the People's Bank in Charleston, you've seen Axton Construction. For education, healthcare, manufacturing, any industry, make your next project Axton Built, the standard of quality for generations, at 1700 State Route 34 in Hurricane, and online at axtonconstruction.com.
Transform the look of your vehicle with the Tint Guy in Nitro. Our professional technicians use only the highest quality window tinting films to give your vehicle the privacy and protection it deserves. With a range of shades and tints to choose from, you can customize your ride to match your style. And with our lifetime warranty, you can be sure that your investment will be protected for years. Say goodbye to harsh sun rays and high temperatures, and hello to a cooler, more stylish ride. Book your appointment today with the Tint Guy.
Welcome back to Elkview, West Virginia. Chris Lawrence with Jeff Jenkins and Jarrett Lewis. We're live this afternoon on 580 WCHS, bringing you the dedication of the new Herbert Hoover High School as well as the Herbert Hoover football field. It looks like we're about ready to get everything in order. I see folks milling around behind the podium down there. Jeff, as you said, this thing's difficult to orchestrate sometimes.
Well, it's like herding cats a little
Yeah.
bit. You know, you've got politicians and different folks, and so it's hard for them just to go sit down.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Everybody's got to say hi. How you doing? How's
exactly.
your mom?
And I watched Senator Manchin and Senator Capito, kind of working the crowd now because I think they might be waiting on Brad Paisley.
Oh, that might be what it is.
So I think that's what it is, and so we're trying to.
Well, I'll tell you what we'll do, because we didn't really script this out because this is what we expected. We weren't sure what was going to go on. Let's go ahead.
Let's see if I can get I'm close to Senator Capito here. You want me to try to get her?
Yeah, holler over there and see if she'll come and talk to you. Jeff
Let's
Jenkins
see
is
here.
down in the end zone there trying to get a hold of the senator. She's taking pictures right now.
Shelly.
There you go, Jarrett. Jeff and the senator are on a first-name basis.
That's how it's done.
That's how it's done in West Virginia.
We're seeing the man in action.
Okay, here she comes. Senator Capito's coming.
Yeah, after she says hello to 6 more people.
That's okay. Here she comes for a quick word, shaking hands.
A lot of folks to work through to get over to Jeff Jenkins at the end of the aisle down there in the end zone.
And it's quite a crowd here, Chris.
It is.
That's gathered and waiting. And here's the senator. She's wearing her Herbert Hoover Husky shirt, right?
I am. The Huskies, my kids have played against the Huskies and suffered some defeats in the past, but what a gorgeous day, what a gorgeous facility, and beautiful field. So it's going to be a winner all the way around.
Give me your reaction when you drove up the long drive here and you saw that school.
You know, I actually kind of had a catch in my throat because I saw so many families walking up, realizing what a community school this is and how much it means. And then I flashed back to that tour of the school in 2016 with the warped basketball and the instruments all laid on the floor. It's an emotional day, but it's a great day.
We said at the time, you said at the time, this is going to be a long haul.
Right. I had no idea it would take 7 years. I mean, some of the reviews took way too long, but look, it's here, it's now. Congratulations to the school board, both state and county. They've done a good job.
Jeff, I hate to interrupt you. She's got to go.
She's got to go. Yes, Brad got her first.
Yeah, Brad Paisley has appeared now at the podium or near the podium. So in just a few minutes, as soon as Senator Capito can make her way through the crowd, she can get over to where they're going to assemble, and I think they'll be ready to go here this afternoon. Man, Jarrett, what a day! Look at Chamber of Commerce weather here this afternoon.
You're telling me, just everywhere you look, you see somebody that you've seen on TV, and we see Brad Paisley now. He's sticking out with the yellow hat. He's supporting West Virginia.
Actually, that hat says New River Gorge on it.
Oh, even better.
Yeah.
I've been there.
Yeah, he's got New River Gorge on his hat. So, and he's talking to the mayor of Clinton and Kay Summers, and Senator Manchin is over there. Now Senator Capito has made it over. She'll have to exchange pleasantries there as well. But continuing with our discussion about this school, it's not just the football field. All the athletic facilities are amazing here across the street, and it's not quite done yet, but it's not spring yet. Hoover will have a brand new baseball field, which is going to be beautiful. To the right of that is a softball field. Their batting cages have roofs over them. There's an entirely different concession area for baseball, and I think we're about ready to go. Yeah, let's go down to the podium and Mayor Kay Summers.
Mr. Brad Paisley came to me earlier today and said to me, I need for you to make an announcement. I do not want to speak, but I want to tell you something about somebody. And I'm going to quote, Mr. Mike Kelley is a firecracker. He works hard every day. He worked hard yesterday. He's working hard today, and he'll work hard tomorrow. And I love him. And I think, Brad, he's going to join your crew. I think he's going to go. He's not? Well, we're good. We don't want to lose him. We don't want any hard workers on. Sorry, Mike. Good afternoon, Husky fans and family. Welcome to the official, the one, the only, the 7-year in making, the biggest celebration on Elk River that we've ever had. It's called the Herbert Hoover High School ribbon cutting. Isn't it beautiful, guys? Yay! It's my pleasure to welcome all of you to Husky Stadium. It is said that attitude determines your altitude. And my friends, I don't believe our altitude could be any higher than it is if we ever tried. So thank you. I'm honored to be here with the Huskies from classes of 1963 to the class of 2023. I would like for you to stand and give yourselves an ovation and clap for everybody. Hey guys, I know it's a sin to be jealous, but I think we're jealous of the up-and-coming classes. But I'm very proud. I'm thrilled for the future classes to finally have a school, to have a locker, and have an indoor hall that's not snowing, raining, sleeting. So we are happy for them. We're honored today to have Principal Firecracker Michael Kelley with us. We're also... Mike, I'm afraid that name's going to stick with you. We also have with us Dr. Tom Williams, Superintendent of Kanawha County Schools. We have Senators Shelly Moore Capito and Joe Manchin. And thank each of you for joining us. But I don't know if you've heard or not, but a young man who hails from the hills of Glendale, West Virginia, who came to the Elk River in 2016, and you know what? He got a whole lot of mud on his tires. He's here with us today in West Virginia, our own Brad Paisley. But I want to thank each of you in the stadiums, each of you personally, for being a part of this great day. This is not on the thing, but I'm going to say it anyway. I'd like to thank the Pinch Volunteer Fire Department, the Clinton Volunteer Fire Department, Kanawha County Ambulance Authority, Kanawha County Emergency Services, West Virginia State Police, Kanawha County Deputy Sheriffs, the Clinton Police Department, South Charleston, Nitro, Dunbar, St. Albans. Brad, we have a lot of people here for you today. But my biggest thanks goes to the Elk River community. And thank you for your patience and your endurance. You're the heart and soul that has kept this project in the forefront and patiently waiting for this day to come. You're the reason we all gathered here today in celebration. And I really, really appreciate you very much.
Sorry, Kay.
That's okay. Without further ado, it gives my distinct pleasure to introduce to you the man who has made all this reality. You know, I watched him grow up as a little boy. I watched him in middle school. I watched him in high school, and to be truthful, I didn't know what was going to happen to him. And today, he became an educator, a mentor, administrator, and most important to me, my friend. Husky, let's welcome Principal Michael Kelley.
Thank you, everyone. And I think we forgot to also introduce State Superintendent Michelle Blatt right here. Stay strong, stay together, stand up for Hoover. We said those words over and over and over again 7 years ago. And I want you to know that when I say we today, that I'm saying included in that is the staff, the students, and the community. Because a lot of places talk about being family, and some of them are, but we truly are up here. We were worried after the flood that students would leave, that teachers would leave, and you didn't. You stayed with us. I remember when then Superintendent Dr. During was talking to Maddie Bowles when we were waiting for Brad Paisley to come the first time after the flood, and she was nervous. And I said, he's just a person, just like everybody else. He's just more talented. And the superintendent came over, and he was apologizing to some of the students, you know, that this is awful, that this has happened to you, and we, you know, your senior year, and you're going to have to go through this. And I'll never forget, she said, Dr. During, as long as you keep us together, we'll be just fine. And so that was a highlight of my career, to have a student articulate that attitude to the superintendent. And we say things like on a regular basis, the wrong things in life are easy. The right things are often hard. We say excuses are a reason to fail. We say wishing things were different is unproductive. And we say there is greatness in traveling the hard path. And that's what we have done, and we have done it together. And we owe a debt to all of those students that fought the hard fight. Every current and future Hoover student to do is Hoover up.
Thank you, Mr. Kelley. Now let's give a big Husky welcome to Dr. Tom Williams, Superintendent of Kanawha County Schools. Dr. Williams, thank you for your unwavering support that brought us to this moment. We really appreciate it. So thank you, Dr. Williams. We'd like to hear a few words from you. And if you want to introduce your board, you may.
Thank you, Mayor Summers and Mr. Kelley. This is an incredible day for the Elk River community. We know that the road to the completion of this amazing campus has been a long journey, but I think all of you will agree it certainly was worth it. We have said this many times along the way, but it's important to mention that when working with federal and state entities to make this a reality, we have to cross every T and dot every I. We have to make sure to go through every required step so that we could provide this facility to you, our Elk River community. And that's what we did. Were there delays and frustrations? Absolutely. But we're here at the finish line, and that's what counts. In getting here, there are many people to thank. First, I'd like to thank our Kanawha County Board of Education members, our board president, Mrs. Tracy White, our board pro tem, Mr. Rick Cavender, Mr. Jim Crawford, Sr., Mrs. Becky Jordan, and Mr. Ryan White. They have stayed the course and provided the support needed to get us here today. Also, thank you to the Governor, Governor Justice, and Brian Abraham for your support, Senators Capito and Manchin for the help navigating the FEMA process. Thank you to FEMA and our State School Building Authority, as well as the West Virginia Department of Education, to our state delegates and senators. Thanks to our county commissioners. They have been steadfast and generous through this process, and we thank them for making yesterday Herbert Hoover High School Day as our students return to school. Thank you to Dr. Ron Deering, our previous superintendent, who started this important work and made sure that we were making early decisions that would lead us to this day. And of course, a big thanks to Mr. Mike Kelley and the Hoover staff. They never wavered. The kids were continued to be educated in the manner in which they always have been, which is first class. And I would be remiss if we didn't also thank Mrs. Lovejoy and the staff at Elkview Middle School, who have shared their facility for these past 7 years. And most importantly, thank you to our Elk River community, the parents, students, and community members. Thank you all for your patience and understanding. This community faced a catastrophic event, and they together have risen above in every way. This is the light at the end of the tunnel, and you deserve every bit of this. You are truly Elk River strong.
Thank you.
While the construction portion of this project is very close to completion. The next phase is just starting, and that's filling the campus with learning, with the success that Herbert Hoover is known for, and with many, many wonderful memories. As Mr. Kelley has said, this building is nothing without the people inside. My prayer is that this building is filled with decades and decades of continued success. On behalf of the Kanawha County Board of Education and my colleagues, I thank you for being here today and thank everyone who has helped make this possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Williams. There's a couple people that I'd like to mention to you that really helped us a lot. Brianna Warner, Caitlin Donnan, Keith Vitito, and Andrew Crawford. And they have really worked hard to make this day. So, Dr. Williams, will you please thank them for us too? Thank you. Next, it gives me great pleasure to mention and to introduce to you our friend who was a GW patriot for a long time. But if you notice her outfit today, guess what she has on? Herbert Hoover, white, red, and blue. And red shoes, guys. Yay! Senator Shelly Moore Capito. She comes from local here from Charleston. Like I say, she went to GW. She's never changed, and she's worked hard with us anytime we've called and asked. 7 years is a long time, but we really, really appreciate all that you've done, Senator Capito.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank all of you, the Kanawha County School Board, the State School Board, certainly Principal Kelley. Amazing. When we first came to visit, when Brad came to visit the first time, my fellow Glendale native, Brad Paisley, when we came to visit, we got into Joe Manchin's car. And as we were driving around, Brad, do you remember what you said? Next time I come, it's fine, but Joe, you're not driving. Little speed demon there through Clendenin. But it's a wonderful day, and it's been my honor to serve as one of your senators, and certainly Senator Manchin and I did it the Hoover way. We stayed together the entire time, working with FEMA and other federal agencies to keep their feet to the fire, although it took 7 years, to make sure that this day would be as beautiful, that this facility would be as dynamic and futuristic as it is now, and that all the Hoover community here, past, present, and future, would be Husky strong. So every day in my office, I have my own Husky. I have Jennifer Piercy, class of 1999, with me, so the Huskies will never be far from me. And I can also tell you, as having 3 children who went to GW as well, you guys pounded us on the football field, on the volleyball court, on the baseball field a couple of times. So I know that Husky spirit is always strong, as it has been in years past. But what I think it really shows about all of us is West Virginians helping West Virginians. The first day I came after the flood, I met people from the Eastern Panhandle that was making food. We met people from all over the state that were reaching their hands out to say, we want to help. We feel your pain. We know it's an emotional day today. So thank you for letting me have the privilege of being here. Thank you to all those that have been mentioned and the future. A special thanks to one of our state's most shining lights, certainly, Brad Paisley. I'll give a shout out to his dad, Doug, who's a dynamo in and of himself. So thank you all very much. Great to be with you today. Good luck.
Thank you, Senator Capito. I really appreciate. Our next guest, and I want you to know I'm going to give him a little toss for his friendship with Brad. Brad, I just told Senator Manchin that Brad invited me to his house for dinner, but we're not asking Senator Manchin to go. Sorry about your luck. That's right. But, you know, there again, Senator Manchin, we call on him. We call on his staff. They're readily available. They come to Clinton, they come to Elk River, and they've helped us a lot over the last 7 years. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce Senator Joe Manchin.
Thank you, Linda. First of all, to the mayor, I want to thank her for what she does. I want to really thank Mike Kelley. I'm going to tell you, I know a little bit about leadership and people that want to follow, people that want to do something. Mike Kelley held this together for 7 years like nothing I have ever seen. For the staff, to every one of you all, from the support staff and every one of Herbert Hoover, to excel the way you have in 7 years with all of the challenges you had is unbelievable. And it only happens when basically you believe in a leadership who believes in you. And I think Mike keeps telling you, Herbert Hoover strong. You not only showed Herbert Hoover strong, you showed West Virginia strong. You showed everything that we have and who we are and what we're made of. So when I say bricks and mortars don't really make a school, but I tell you, it didn't do a bad job here. It did not do a bad job here. But it's the people and it's the heart and soul of this school and this community that made this happen. It took 7 years. I know it was very, very long from that standpoint. And as Shelly has said, we worked very hard with FEMA. I think $82 million we were able to secure for this program. I think it's probably one of the best in the country, not just in West Virginia. You're not going to find another facility that gives this many opportunities. So to Superintendent Williams, again, Mike and your entire staff, being here with Shelly is also special. But the turnout, for all of you all to come out this evening means more than I think that you would ever know, showing the support you have for your school, for your beloved community, but for the state of West Virginia, and I thank you. None of us have ever forgot June 23rd, 2016. Remember where we were. I was driving home from Washington. I got into a little bit of an accident. It was the torrential downpour, and my car hydroplaned, and I went over a hill. No damage to me, but the car didn't make it. So they drove me in, and I remember coming into West Virginia that night, and I couldn't believe it. And when I tell you about bricks and mortars, we lost 23 brave West Virginians that day, 23. We lost grandparents, we lost children, school children, we lost moms and dads, and we'll never forget that. So I think it's a testament to all of them that we have that spirit to go on. You all have shown us that. We talk about that day to day. When this happened, Shelly and I, when it first happened, we were both trying to figure what can we do to help our state. They got ravaged in 2016 with the flood. And then out of the clear blue sky, get a phone call from Brad. And then Jennifer Gardner called. So we have Brad Paisley and Jennifer Gardner, never forgetting where they come from and never, absolutely never waiting a second to want to help. And Brad came down in 7 days, and it was right. Shelly told you the truth. He doesn't like to ride with me, and I got thrown out of the driver's seat that day. But other than that, we had a great visit. We saw some things, and we saw Malaya. She took us to the band room, and what we saw was instruments strewn around everywhere. The drums were floating. The basketball floor was up in big hooves where it done buckled up. It was an unbelievable sight. And she said, don't you worry, we'll come back, we'll rebuild. Well, let me tell you something about the gentleman I have the absolute honor of introducing. There's people that basically have found fame and fortune outside of our state, and sometimes they forgot where they came from and how they did, and how they got what they did. And I've always said this, you are who you are by where you were raised, how you were raised, and who raised you. It never leaves you. It never leaves. You can travel anywhere in the world you want, and you'll still reflect back on those people that basically gave you your start. I'm going to introduce a person who never forgot where he came from because he never forgot the people that basically made him what he is today and gave him the inspiration to do that. But when he said, I want to come back and do something, and he was here 1 week to the day after the flood, and he's back here today. And I had the privilege of traveling to the war zone in Ukraine with him. We talked to President Zelensky, finding out what we could do to help Ukraine. He was right there with us, side by side, and it's an unbelievable trip. I saw his compassion and humanity, and I was so proud to have this person as a fellow West Virginian. I want you to give a Herbert Hoover welcome like you've never given before to our friend, our fellow West Virginian, Brad Paisley.
Thank you, Joe, and thanks, everybody. First of all, as a John Marshall monarch, this is a bittersweet day. I cannot believe you went and got my school to be the guinea pig on this field today. That's a low blow. I really can't say enough about the facility you've built here. When we came here in 2016, this was the worst high school situation I've ever seen. It was, as Joe said, floating band instruments in the band room. That floor looked like the waves at the ocean of the basketball floor. It was just one of the biggest disaster areas I've ever seen. And today, having seen it, what you've done with that, this is the nicest high school I've ever seen in my entire life. I can't tell you how inspiring that is to see something that devastating and that terrible turned into something so inspiring. And Mr. Kelley, I'll tell you, you should be so proud. I know you are. You've been at the verge of tears all day. I don't blame you. I think you've been given an enormous gift to the students of this school. High school can be a very difficult time in somebody's life because it's filled with trivialities. You're worried about where you fit in. You're worried about whether or not you're popular and what you're wearing and if you're doing well in classes that in my case I had no business even taking. And what you've been given here is something much larger, which is a glimpse of the real world before you were ready and the devastation that can occur, but more importantly, the things that human beings can do for one another in the face of disaster. That should overshadow all the trivialities of high school for you, and never lose sight of the fact that good people came together to build this for your future on this spot. So anyway, I think this is the best example of what West Virginia is, how West Virginians care for one another, who they really are, and I hope this high school is every bit the gift for these future generations that it can be. Thanks for inviting me back. We're going to have a great time tonight.
Thank you, Brad. It is an honor for you to be here. And everybody was so excited. I don't know, I hate to tell Joey Fields this. I'm not for sure if it was a scrimmage or seeing Brad Paisley. Sorry, Joey. I'd like to thank each and every one for who have made this day possible. A special thanks to all our distinguished guests, but true heartfelt thanks to Mr. Kelley, the administration at Herbert Hoover High School, the teachers, and most of all, our students. You've weathered the storm, and it's time to say, welcome home, Huskies. So at this time, I'd like to invite Mr. Kelley, Dr. Williams, Senator Capito, Senator Manchin, and our honorable guest, Husky, Mr. Brad Paisley, to come out for the ribbon cutting.
That's Mayor Kay Summers of Clendenin, the Master of Ceremonies here this afternoon, as the speakers this afternoon head out to the field to cut the ribbon on this new facility. Now, let's go back, though, as you heard several of them mention the flood and the devastation at the school. Once the water had receded was when the true scope of what happened in this community started to be revealed. And in the following days from the flood, despair was evident everywhere. Our 580 WCHS radio news team was on the scene to document the story as we listen back.
Just days after the waters of the 2016 flood receded, the full scope of what had occurred started to become evident.
I'm standing on Hardman Brothers Bridge, which crosses the Elk River right outside of downtown Clendenin, at this point off of Route 119. Residents who live along the waterway here say that the bridge I'm standing on right now, most of it was underwater just 2 days ago. The river, of course, we know the Elk River at historic levels right above this location. So when it got here, it hit this bridge and debris started backing up. Residents say the debris turned into an island until eventually the water receded enough that it could break free and continue downriver. However, there's a lot of debris, bottles, personal items, styrofoam, water jugs, tires, all around this bridge at this point.
Kanawha County Emergency Services Director C.W. Sigmund said most victims didn't know where to turn.
Most of the town has been underwater. Only those that a fair ways up the hill escape. I have good friends of mine who've had several feet of water, like 10 feet or so water in their homes. Never had water before. It's pretty catastrophic.
Some of those flood victims didn't live to see the waters recede. Clendenin Fire Chief Kevin Clendenin.
You know, we've lost 6 folks, and that is tragic. Anytime you lose one, that's tragic. To lose 6, you know, but to be honest with you, it's Friday. If you'd asked me, I told you it was going to go up because there are just so many places I hadn't got to check yet.
But some amazingly did survive, with almost nothing left to their name.
89-year-old Ruby Hackney encountered a woman who gave her a funny look.
I said, honey, I've been in a flood. I said, that's why I look like I do.
The woman asked her what size shoes she wore, and then
she pulled them off her feet and gave them to me, and then gave me a $20 bill.
Hackney lost everything she had when her Clendenin home was ripped apart by Thursday's flood. Her clothes, her furniture, and even her medicine, which was stolen from her while she was at a friend's house. When she returned Friday, she says the flood was nothing compared to what she's seen before. With others lending a helping hand, she's hopeful one day she'll recover from this heartbreaking loss, like thousands of West Virginians across the state.
I just hope I can hold up to get through this.
I'm Carrie Hudasek, WVMetroNews.com.
I'm outside of Herbert Hoover High School right now because an area I wanted to get to was along Jordan Creek. Jordan Creek feeds the Elk River, and we know on Thursday night this was one of the trouble spots. And so I'm very close to that point now. So I went about a mile out Jordan Creek Road just to talk to some residents. And I can tell you today that Jordan Creek is running as it normally does, and it looks like any creek in anywhere West Virginia. It's down well below its banks, but it's filled with debris, and it's very clear as you drive down Jordan Creek Road exactly where the water had been. There are sections of road that are cratering, the road's falling away in places, bridges are gone, homes are gone. Homes are pushed over to the side, and in some cases pushed up against trees. There's debris stacked, pushed to the edge of the road all along the road itself. And there are many, many crews out with heavy equipment trying to fix the road, number one, and also, two, trying to clear the creek of debris. And we're talking about fencing, wood that looks like it came from a banister on a porch, all kinds of furniture, mattresses, sofas, all of that. And it just kind of rushed down and it got stuck in places. I actually walked inside a home. I talked with a man who was cleaning out his parents' home along Jordan Creek. And as we walked in, he said, this used to be a beautiful home.
Even those places which were typically havens of hope in such times had their own problems.
When you step inside the Mount Pleasance Baptist Church in the Kanawha County town of Elkview, you can see the devastation from Thursday's storms. The walls are torn down, floors ripped up, pews, chairs, Bibles, and other damaged furniture on the outside of the structure, so cleanup work can take place. That was the scene on Tuesday. Crews will have to rebuild the inside of the place, which has been there for 41 years.
We're going to have our congregation here for probably a year while we completely have to gut and rebuild.
That was Assistant Pastor Reagan Jett, who says a gymnasium nearby will be their new home for some time. He says the devastation is being felt within the entire community, but says he knows they'll recover.
Our walls may be broken, but we're still the church.
I'm Carrie Hudasek, 580 WCHS.
For some, it was just too much.
I'm not living here no longer. I'm not going to lose everything I got again.
But amid the mud, debris, and despair, hope emerged.
The sun is shining brightly in Clendenin this afternoon, and downtown Clendenin, a bevy of activity. You've got volunteers from all across the country. You've got residents who are coming to the downtown to get supplies, to get food, things to help them as they try to recover. And they're directing traffic here. There's a lot of traffic, a lot of it from volunteers, a lot of it from residents. You get the sense of hope from these people that now that disaster, at least the water has gone down, they know there's a lot of work to do, but the ones I talk to seem hopeful they'll be able to rebuild and stay right here. From Clendenin, I'm Jeff Jenkins, WVMetroNews.com.
Years ago, in June, when the flood devastated the Herbert Hoover High School, the Elk River community, Clendenin, Elkview, the entire upper Elk River Valley suffering there. You're listening to live coverage this afternoon of the dedication of the Herbert Hoover High School and the Herbert Hoover High School football field. We've got plenty more to come, including a scrimmage between John Marshall and Herbert Hoover. We've got that coming up as well. Stay with us. We'll be back on 580 WCHS, the voice of Charleston.
Ready to turn up the heat and embrace all that summer in West Virginia has to offer? Walker Chevrolet is your ultimate destination for summer adventure. Walker Chevrolet has great deals and a great selection on everything. Explore rugged terrain with the powerful Chevy Silverado, conquer the open road with the sporty Chevy Trailblazer, or experience the ultimate family getaway with the spacious Chevy Tahoe. Walker has plenty of inventory in stock, both new and pre-owned, and they're still buying cars too. All makes and models are welcome in Walker, and they'll give you top dollar for your vehicle this summer, even if you plan to buy somewhere else. There are no gimmicks or games at Walker, just honest, fair deals, and that's because Gene and Ryan built their business the old-fashioned way by making friends. So unleash the spirit of summer and embark on the adventure of a lifetime this year at Walker Chevrolet. In the shadow of the Interstate Bridge, just off the Nitro exit of I-64. Walker Chevrolet, making friends one deal at a time.
What did you wake up to today? Was it a medieval castle, an ancient cathedral, or a charming cobblestone village? With a bed that faces the passing scenery, Avalon gives cruisers a front row seat to the views of the world, with immediate access to a new port every day. Open your eyes to a different kind of cruising, one with smaller ships, bigger experiences, fewer people, and more of everything. Limited time special offers await at AvalonWaterways.com.
Have you heard of Instacart? I use it to get same-day delivery for my groceries and essentials. So I figured it's time to join Instacart Plus. Now I get unlimited free delivery on orders over $35, 5% credit back on pickup, and a family account. With all these benefits, our savings really add up. No wonder Instacart Plus members save $460 a year when they order at least once a week. See how much you'll save. Visit instacartplus.com for 2 weeks free. Average savings exclude membership fee. Individual savings may vary. Credit back excludes alcohol. Paid membership auto renews. Additional terms apply.
If you've seen the Mardi Gras Casino and Resort in Crosslades, you've seen Axton Construction. If you've seen the Conference Center at Adventures on the Gorge, you've seen Axton Construction. If you've seen the People's Bank in Charleston, you've seen Axton Construction. For education, healthcare, manufacturing, any industry, make your next project Axton Built, the standard of quality for generations, at 1700 State Route 34 in Hurricane and online at axtonconstruction.com.
Support top-notch local care for kids at WVU Medicine Children's Hospital. We're in this together. The Cares for Kids Radiothon, September 7th and 8th, aids children's health care. In just a year, 50,000 kids in our counties were treated. Every contribution counts. Tune in on 580 WCHS and help us make a significant impact all day on September 7th and 8th. Together with WVRC Media, we're devoted to our community.
Are you ready for the most dependable and trusted source of news, sports, and talk radio in Charleston and the Kanawha Valley? Look no further than 580 WCHS, your go-to for in-depth coverage and analysis. Charleston's talk show 580 Live, along with breaking news and weather, unrivaled high school sports, and complete Cincinnati Reds coverage means we've got the info you want. Tune in to 104.5 FM, 96.5 FM, and 580 AM, or listen live online at WCHSnetwork.com. Stay connected with the voice of Charleston, 580 WCHS.
Welcome back to Husky Stadium, Herbert Hoover High School, the brand new Herbert Hoover's High School. Students went to school for the first day yesterday, and I think there were a lot of wide eyes when they got off the bus, Jarrett.
Well, I'm sure there was. And our own Kat Skeldon had the chance to check out the high school as well on Thursday. She had a media tour, and I'm sure the students really, like you said,
Indeed,
eyes wide open at all the cool stuff that they got to see in their new building.
Let's go back down to the playing surface here at Husky Stadium. Jeff Jenkins has caught up with a man who knows well what this community has been through.
Yeah, Tim Armstead, State Supreme Court Justice, former Speaker of the House, former delegate for this area in the state of West Virginia. His house, Chris, was flooded in the June 2016 flood. Tim, this is full circle here today, isn't it?
Oh, it's just fantastic. I mean, that was such a challenging time for the Elk River area. There were so many, obviously loss of life, loss of people's homes, and to see a beautiful school like this after so many years, and the people that came together to make this happen, it just really shows what kind of people we have up here in Elk River. There's, we've used that word, Elk River strong. They certainly are, and to persevere as they have. This is just such a beautiful facility, and I think the students here have shown that whether they're in portables or they're in a beautiful school like this, they're going to succeed.
You grew up in the Little Kanawha River area, right? And in Gilmer County, and
Elk River.
Elk River. What's different about? Can you put your finger on it? Maybe other communities may not have made it through this. What's different about folks that grow up on the river?
Well, it's just the nature of people here who, when they see somebody has a need, they step up. And so there was, from the day one, you saw people, not only cleaning out their own houses, but going next door and saying, how can I help? And going downtown, the people who didn't flood coming, with their trailers to haul things. I mean, it just was unbelievable how this community came together because they care for each other and they care about their community and they care about their neighbors. And so I know that everybody feels that way, but I think there is something special about the Elk River community, just how they have really made this happen together, working together. And we had help from all over the country and other parts of the state, but it was truly the people here, when everything died down, a month or two later, they were still here working, rebuilding these communities, rebuilding their lives, and rebuilding this school. And so it's just wonderful to be here today and see this.
Now, Chris, here's something you may not know about Justice Armstead. He's a member of Elkview Baptist Church, right. and this was their property. And Tim even spent some time clearing some brush on this property when they thought they were going to build the new church here, and they will build a new church close to here. But could you ever imagine that this property would turn into this?
No, not at all. And of course, that there was going to be a new school, but certainly I think this is a wonderful location for it. And I think, as you see here, looking at these buildings, looking at this field that we're on, it's just a wonderful facility. And no one wished what would have happened in 2016. But there are certainly good things that did come out of it, and this is certainly one of those. And I think this will be a tremendous facility for years to come for Elk River area.
I appreciate it. Justice Tim Armstead. Chris?
All right, Jeff Jenkins with the Supreme Court Justice Tim Armstead there. And, I remember when this happened, Jarrett, Tim was down at the Clendenin exit, sort of became a distribution point for cleaning supplies and food. And Jeff, very much like he's doing today, was interviewing everybody that came by. We were live down there in the first few days of the flood, and he was one of them that came through there. We took you down, and of course you were still in high school when this was going on, right. But we took you down to see the portable classrooms where these students have gone to school for the past 7 years. Imagine what it's going to be like for those students who spent all their high school in that, and then they come up here to this.
Well, I mean, and I think kind of Mayor Summers kind of alluded to it, little jealousy with the students. They get to be in this new school building now, and for the seniors especially, I think of this year, they're going to have a really good 1 year at this new facility after just for what they went through for most of their teenage life, middle school and high school now that you had to deal with learning in those portables, and that was quite a sight to see. It actually gave me a little bit of chills at that point, and we hadn't even come to the new spot over here, but seeing what they went through for so many years over just a couple of minutes down the road it's quite something. It's a major upgrade. It just kind of blows your mind when you really think about it.
There is still some work to be done here. It's not 100% finished. As we look across the way at the baseball and softball facilities, they're doing some touch-up work and finishing up on. It looks like they're
Chris,
still putting the roof on. Yeah, let's go back down to the field. Jeff Jenkins.
All right, U.S. Senator Joe Manchin here is with me, and wow, what a day, Senator!
I've never seen anything like it in my life. I swear. Jeff, to look at this and see what happened 7 years ago, and we were there the day it happened, almost after, and then within 7 days, Brad Paisley came in. He called one to be helpful. Jennifer Gardner called one to be helpful. And I don't know how we'd ever bounce back to this level, but I knew they would come back. But the most amazing thing is over the 7 years, they've excelled in every athletic and every scholastic and every and the band competitions. They have just knocked it out of the park. And that's determination, but that's all leadership. Mike Kelley and his staff, Leah with Fisher, Mrs. Fisher with the band, what they have done to get these kids and keep them at a high level through all of the distraction and all the challenges is unbelievable. But to see what they have now, this is the finest example of what you can do to offer an opportunity for a young person to say, I had people that invested to give me a start in life, and I never forget where I came from.
I drove down today. We drove down, Senator, and looked at the portables. You know, you really get a perspective.
7 years, yeah. It took us 3 years to get act together, and then, you know, for FEMA, we fought like the Dickens, Shelly and I, for 82 years came to this because they got devastated. Nothing got wiped out the way they did in the school. And those kids bounced back in those portables, glorified trailers for 7 years. God bless them.
Yeah. Well, it's good to see you. I know you're not that bad of a driver, so.
No. I just was a little bit fast that day, and they got a little excited. That's all.
All right, we're enjoying the day, Senator.
Thank you.
All right, Senator Joe Manchin.
And Senator Manchin basically admitting something that I did not know, that he actually wrecked on the night of the flood. He hydroplaned and had an accident. I had never heard that story.
And he wasn't even here. He was in D.C.
What was that, Jeff?
I never heard that either.
Yeah.
And Brad Paisley, who's writing our story for the website, he even texted me and said, well, I never heard that before.
Yeah, that was a new story. I mean, he hit that one from the media pretty well until today. So, but we're glad he's okay. What did you have to say, Jared?
That's another thing, too, Chris. When, driving over and seeing those portables myself, the way that the students have responded, the whole 7 years is remarkable. It's easy to kind of, let down and kind of take things easy. Oh, we're in a terrible situation, but they stepped up.
Let's go back down to the field. Jeff Jenkins has located someone else.
All
Jeff,
right, we're going to point toward the press box. Speaker of the House, Roger Hanshaw. Here, Speaker, try to put into words what this means here today.
So, Jeff, on the day of this flood, I was in Elkview. I was at the Elkview Kmart when the bridge rose up out of the water and washed away, and spent the night there in Kmart at the parking lot that night. It was the most tragic thing I think this community has ever gone through. People literally lost lives, and as a consequence, students did without for nearly 2 entire cycles of public education. I think about 7 years of students who attended classes under circumstances that really you couldn't expect. You couldn't expect a lot, but yet they delivered everything that was expected of them and more. It's a beautiful building. It's a beautiful facility. It's a testament to what happens when people persevere.
You grew up in Clay County. There was damage there. The school, the football, and the Elk River people, whether it's in Kanawha County or Clay County, really rose up after this.
Well, amen to that, and we're proud of that. Yes, our school in Clay suffered damage. We did have to do some rebuilding, but we never lost our actual structure. We never lost the actual school building itself, and these students did. This community did lose its actual school structure, and this is a good day.
It is a very good day. Just to look, when I drove up here, I was like, wow. I'd seen photos and different things, but when you see it for yourself, man, how impressive it is.
It is. I have driven up here a few times during construction, during the process, to just check in on what's going on. So in addition to the flood, it wasn't even an easy process after that. There were delays, there were environmental allegations, there were every possible obstacle that you could have put in front of a project, and they overcame it. And I'm proud of that.
And how important, and I know you've talked to Mike Kelley, man, he seems to be such an important part of this, the principal at Hoover.
He's 100% unimportant. Well, he is the reason. He is the reason. So every community needs somebody to rally around and needs a leader. And Mike is as much a leader as anybody in any position of leadership anywhere.
Okay, Speaker, good to see you. Speaker Roger Hanshaw.
All right, Jeff Jenkins down on the field continuing to talk to folks who have assembled here. And I assume we're going to have a football game here before too long. At least the preparations, they're bringing out yard markers and they're bringing out Gatorade buckets. So we're starting to see a semblance of a football game starting to take shape, Jared. We'll have that coming up in a moment. But they mentioned the fact of how much this school has excelled even in these last 7 years, both academically and athletically and with their performing arts, with the band and so forth. Of course, last year, Hoover's team went all the way to Wheeling. They made it all the way to the state championship, and they fell to Independence in the Class AA championship. But I'll never forget the first basketball season after the flood. Team made the state tournament, and they're practicing in a middle school gym. They don't even have a gym to practice in.
The way these kids respond, it just blows me away. I've not been in this state for very long, and learning about what this school and what these students went through over 7 years, it's just remarkable. It blows me away every single time as we see the visiting team. John Marshall Monarchs are about to take the field. We're going to get this football game underway here shortly. Referees are on the field getting things ready and set up. But, I mean, like you said, the achievements academically, athletically, it is just remarkable, the situation that these students were put in. And, you know, it starts with the leadership of the school, keeping these kids on the right track, and they stuck with it.
Let's go back down to the field. Jeff Jenkins.
All right, Senate President Craig Blair is here, and Craig, this is a West Virginia proud day, isn't it?
Absolutely, it's West Virginia proud. Look at the people in the stands and the people that come together. And we were just talking about it back here a while ago. 7 years is too long ago. We need to start working at the speed of business, not the speed of government. And so we're trying to do that in West Virginia because it actually makes it so that we can get more done for everybody.
I want to know your reaction when you first saw this up here.
Felt like a AAA school. So it really does. It's an investment in the Eastern Panhandle where I'm from. We built so many schools up there. And you know, it's the community. And that's it. Schools are a component of the community, the glue that binds together. Whether you're a child, whether you're a parent, whether you're a neighbor, whether you're a grandparent, it pulls us all together into unity and makes it so that the community works.
And they mentioned Martinsburg. One of the speakers mentioned, you know, one of the people from Martinsburg came down here to help after the 2016 flood. I mean, it was really so much of West Virginia pulling together.
We might not be on the weather map when it comes to the rest of the state from the Eastern Panhandle, but we go around wearing the West Virginia garb. I've got Greenbrier on right now, and all, but we see it everywhere. The flying WVU, everywhere. We're all part of this state. We're working together to make it the best state for all of us. So I'm excited about it.
All right, Senate President Craig Blair. Chris?
All right, thanks a lot, Jeff Jenkins, up here in the booth with us. Now, one of the sponsors of our broadcast this afternoon, and one who also endured the flood as well, Kevin Jennings with Poca Valley Bank. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you today?
I'm doing really well. First of all, thanks so much for sponsoring our broadcast. We appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome. It's our pleasure.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, they're in Clendenin, your bank there, that branch, it was one of the buildings that got flooded, wasn't it?
That is correct. We lost two buildings that day. We lost our branch in Clendenin, and in downtown Clendenin, we had a mortgage operations center, so both got flooded.
Wow. So, and at a time that you are such a business that does so much to serve a community when they're in need, you suddenly found yourself having to fight that battle yourself.
That's right. But, you know, the people were great. Everybody came together. Our employees came together, and the communities came together, and it was just an honor to be able to work with everyone.
And are you back to 100% at those locations?
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
We ended up relocating our mortgage center to Charleston, but our branch in Clendenin is open again.
Fantastic. And what was your impression when you came up and saw this school?
I tell you, I was really impressed. Really impressed. We've been up here 2 or 3 times during the construction, and to see it finished is just amazing.
That's fantastic. Well, Kevin Jennings, the president of Poca Valley Bank.
VP of Marketing.
VP of Marketing. Sorry, I didn't mean to promote you there. Yeah, Vice President of Marketing. But thank you so much for your support of our broadcast and also of the Herbert, the Elkview community here.
All right. Thanks for having us, and go Huskies.
Good deal. Guys, speaking of go Huskies, they have just taken the field here, Jarrett. So it looks like we're actually going to have us a game.
Looks exactly right, and we're kind of Doesn't look like we're going to be right on schedule, but hey, we're pretty close. We're close enough. I think everyone's going to understand. And we heard a lot of cheers, and that was the Huskies taking the field. Both teams are on the field now. We're just about to get this thing underway.
Herbert Hoover comes out. They're actually dressed in their white jerseys with red pants and blue helmets. John Marshall is wearing they are brown and gold. Looks like they're wearing all brown today, brown pants and brown jerseys and golden helmets. So we will I don't know exactly how they're going to do it here, because typically a scrimmage doesn't follow all the same rules. It's basically a glorified practice. But we'll see here in a moment if they're actually going to line it up and kick off. And throughout this broadcast this afternoon of the game, we will be talking to you, to other people throughout the game about this dedication here. But we probably need to run down the starting lineups for you. For Herbert Hoover across the front line offensively, Zach Hudson, the senior, is at that center position. Your guards are Cole Johnson and Brandon Ramos. And senior, Alec Harrison is one tackle, and Mighty Lopez, the sophomore, on the other side there. In the backfield, of course, number 13, Dane Hatfield, comes back for another season at Herbert Hoover. He will be your signal caller. And in the backfield, Rocco Fry, the senior, returns along with Bryce Grimm and Avery Pinnell, and your receivers, Jalen Sims, Blake Fisher, and Sam Key. Looks like we're not going to kick off. They're going to put the ball on the 30-yard line to our right. They'll be moving right to left. John Marshall's going to be on offense first, and it appears that defensively the Huskies are out there, and we're ready to go. So for John Marshall calling the signal, starting quarterback Brandon Knapp under center. He's going to hand it off to the first man through. He's going to blast ahead for about 3 or 4 yards. That Hoover defense is in there to swarm him under. That was Maverick LeMaster's ball carrier there. Going to pick up about 5 yards down up to the 35-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 5 for John Marshall.
Pretty good swarming to the ball for this Husky defense on that very first play. I formation for John Marshall under center. Keeping things simple on play one.
Fantastic crowd on hand here this afternoon to see the first event in this new facility. 2nd down and 5 for John Marshall. They got an offset eye in the backfield. Under center goes Knapp. Calls for the ball, pitches it to the right side. That's going to be LeMasters again, fighting for yardage. He's going to pick up a couple over to the right side, and that's going to bring up 3rd down.
And on the other side of the field, Chris, the John Marshall fans, a lot more of them showing up as this game got underway. Pretty good turnout for them.
Brad Paisley was actually shocked when he learned that they were playing John Marshall. I found it hard to believe. I thought he was actually,
I do too.
I thought he was actually kidding when he said that he didn't realize it was John Marshall. I thought for sure he would know that was who they were playing, but evidently he didn't. I formation with twins to the left for John Marshall. Under center goes Knapp. Hands off again to LeMaster. Swarmed over, hit at the line of scrimmage and thrown backwards for a loss. That's going to bring up 4th down. Nice stand by that Huskies defense.
Nowhere to go. Filling the hole, Blake Fisher from the linebacker position was there, flying down, limiting their back to just 1 yard. And for John Marshall, they're going to stay out there, 4th and 2.
4th down and 2. Knapp goes under center. Caden Knapp, the quarterback for the Monarchs. He's going to keep it himself, shoved forward, nothing doing. And Hoover's going to stop him, and the ball's going to go over on downs. So, successful defense for Herbert Hoover as they turn him around. Nope, they actually pushed it forward, and they actually gave him the 1st down.
Favorable spot. They got to the 40-yard line enough to get the 1st down. Coach Fields, he doesn't think this is a scrimmage. He was out to nearly the hash marks out on the middle of the field, thinking that his Husky defense got that stop.
I thought they did too.
It was just enough from the keeper for Knapp.
All right, 3-man front for Herbert Hoover. Now they bring a 4th up. Now they drop him back. John Marshall. Twin receivers to the right, one to the left out of the I formation. Knapp under center, calling for the ball. Here the Huskies showing blitz. Handoff Masters right side. He's hit in the backfield and stopped. Nice job defensively. Coming up at the stop at that time for Hoover. Who you got for 11 there? I've lost my roster.
We got Avery Pannell for Herbert.
Avery Pinnell, yeah.
Pinnell,
okay.
That works.
No gain on the play. 2nd down and 10. Ball spotted on the right hash mark. 40-yard line of John Marshall as they travel right to left. 12:08 to go in the first period. Handoff, right side. That's going to be LeMasters again. He's got good blocking up front. He's going to push ahead to the 45 up to the 46-yard line for Maverick LeMasters of John Marshall.
6 plays, 6 runs for John Marshall. They're keeping it heavy with the run game, and LeMasters seems to be the go-to guy. They're keeping it I formation, offset I. They're kind of going back and forth with that.
They run a lot of I formation. Coach Mark Caesar said that's what we're going to do a lot of. They don't throw it a whole lot. Knapp goes under center again. I formation behind him. He does have twin receivers to the left. Hoover shows blitz. Fakes the handoff. Drives back to pass. Pressure's there, and he's down. And so is the referee. Took everybody down. Getting back there to make the stop. That was Talon Harrison for Hoover. He came off that right side from his in position. Nobody picked up the block. Big loss that time back for John Marshall as Knapp, play action, faked the handoff, got hit in the backfield, and as they took him down, they took the referee with him. Everybody gets up, so that's good news. But they're going to go ahead and give it 4th down and put him back up the line of scrimmage. You don't know what the rules are when it comes to a scrimmage.
All right, it was about a loss of 10, but it turns out they're going to mark it as about a loss of 5.
Right, and they're going to punt it. They actually have a punter in there. Their punter is Connor Fitzpatrick. Punt is in the air. It's going to come down and be fielded at about the 22-yard line. That's where they're going to stop it. Taking that in for Herbert Hoover was Jalen Sims, and that's going to bring Hoover's offense on here. So we had one series for the Monarchs, and now we go over, and we will have it 1st and 10. Looks like they're going to spot the ball at about the Hoover 22-yard line. And we're going to see Dane Hatfield, who was a lights-out performer for this team a year ago. Spread formation, as you would imagine. Back in the backfield, Rocco Fry. Split out to the right side, Jalen Sims and Blake Fisher. And over on the left side, Avery Pennell and Bryce Grimm. Hatfield, shotgun formation. Got Rocco Fry to his right, dropping back, looking across the middle. Hatfield, long pass, downfield, man is there, and it's in and out of his hands. That was Jalen Sims, who almost had it. Had he hauled that in, he'd have been off to the races. He had beaten his coverage.
That would have been 6.
No doubt.
That would have been 6. Trying to get the fans back on their feet on play number 1. They're going for it all, and quite the arm from Hatfield. Really easy route there. Just a little skinny post over the middle of the field for Sims, and it's off his fingertips.
I'm sure he'd like to have that one back.
Can you imagine? The imaginary roof would have blown off.
Would have been the first score in the new stadium, man. Missed your opportunity. All right, Hatfield setting him down, getting the signal in from Joey Fields on the sideline. Trips formation to the right this time, and one man over to the left. Rocco Fry is shaded off the left side of Hatfield, and now whistles blow. Let's see what happened. We got a flag now. We'll have to check that.
Delay a game, maybe?
Well, they threw it in the out here in the backfield, but I don't think they're going to mark it off because it's a scrimmage, for heaven's sake. So it's just going to be 2nd down and 10. They said, come on, let's move. All right, here's Hatfield out of his shotgun formation, same formation. Triple receivers to the right, hands it off to Rocco Fry, draw play up the middle. He bends it over to the right side. He's up over the 25, up over the 30, to the 35, and up across the 35 to the 37 goes Rocco Fry. And, man, he was picking him up and putting him down right there.
He was staying patient, too. He was kind of letting his receivers get up to their man and set up those blocks for him downfield. Nice job by the guys split out wide by the Huskies of allowing Fry to maneuver around them and pick up about 14 on that play.
And that was enough for a 1st down. They move it up to the 37-yard line of Herbert Hoover. 1st and 10. This time they flip the field. They put 3 receivers to the left. Here's Hatfield. Hands it off again to Fry. This time they're in the backfield to stop him. Good job penetrating that time by John Marshall.
Really good read by John Marshall. Brady Deem.
Yeah, he came up with a great stop.
Two-way player for John Marshall.
Chris Lawrence, we've got a guest after this next play.
All right, we'll let.
All right. We're roaming. here. So.
That's cool. All right, here's Hatfield. He's got twin receivers either way this time. Fries on his left side. Shotgun formation. 5-man front for the Monarchs. Hatfield drops back. Pressure comes. He's flushed out of the pocket. Coming to the near sideline. He's up over the 40, and they knock him out of bounds at about the 44-yard line. Let's go down on the field. Jeff Jenkins has caught up with another guest on a wonderful Saturday evening here at Herbert Hoover High School.
State Senator Glenn Jeffries is with me. And, Senator, wow, you're a construction guy, right? So you know a little bit about this. Tell me about this facility.
Oh, this facility is amazing. The efforts that was to put together a state-of-the-art facility for Herbert Hoover is just outstanding. I mean, everything looks great, and there's no more that you can accomplish here for these kids, for these students, for what this community's been through. It's just a wonderful thing.
We look at the home side. Look at there, Senator. There's not a seat to be had, and that's a huge amount of bleachers there.
Estimate of how a community sticks together. You're right. There is not an open seat over there. So I think it's a spirit thing for this community.
Okay, good seeing you. Thanks a lot. Senator Glenn Jeffries. Chris?
Hatfield, long pass downfield, picked off at the 20, coming the other way for John Marshall, up over to the 30 to the 35-yard line, and hauling in that interception for John Marshall was DeMario White. Flags come down on the return. So Hatfield throws a long pass downfield, and it is picked off in the man-to-man coverage. We continue this afternoon covering what has happened and how far we have come. We also want to return and tell you that the phrase Elk River Strong became more than just a hashtag in the days and weeks that followed the 2016 flood. Over the course of time, it became very clear that attitude would certainly be tested as we listen back in this piece.
Usually when there's a disaster in the community, the local school is where everybody rallies. Schools, especially high schools, are the stitches in the fabric of a community. However, after the 2016 flood, Herbert Hoover High School was unable to serve that role.
Herbert Hoover High School Principal Mike Kelley could only shake his head as he looked over the buckled gym floor in his high school that endured 7 feet of water on the lower level, destroying everything on the bottom floor. He said, fortunately, most of the classroom space and equipment was on the second story and is untouched. The big question, can they get Hoover ready in time for the first day of school in August? He said they believe that they can. They're going to give it their best effort. However, contingency plans are in place, and he vowed that Herbert Hoover students will go to school on the first day. They will go to school together, and they will go to school somewhere in this community. At Herbert Hoover High School, I'm Chris Lawrence, 580 WCHS.
Almost immediately, there was talk it could be the end of Hoover. Principal and Hoover alum Mike Kelley quickly moved to quell that notion.
Hoover will reopen, okay, and we're going to be back stronger than ever. We may or may not be able to do that in early August, or we might be a few weeks or a month behind or something like that, getting back in this building. But our kids are going to go to school. They're going to go to school together, and they're going to go to school in this community.
It was going to take attention and dedication, as well as help. Help that came in the form of a high-profile West Virginian.
Country music singer and West Virginia native Brad Paisley was in shock as he slogged through the mud in the hallways of Herbert Hoover High School. He tried to walk up on a buckled gym floor and was afraid to do it, and then walked into the band room where a dozen guitars lay strewn amongst the mud. He said, I got to get a picture of that guitar because that tells the whole story. Paisley is not unfamiliar with that kind of damage. He lost his own musical instruments in a flood in Nashville several years ago. But he said, unlike his situation, where there was money and insurance to cover the cost, there was no money here at Herbert Hoover to get these students back into a musical education format. He says everything else is here, the drive, the heart, the volunteer spirit. All they need is money. And he says he's going to do all he can to make sure they get that. At Herbert Hoover High School, I'm Chris Lawrence, WVMetroNews.com.
You can't capture the smell. That's part of it, I think, as a sensory perception when you walk in a room and you know, any photo doesn't do justice to sort of this thing that goes on in your mind that you're thinking, I shouldn't be breathing this. That feeling in a school is a terrible feeling. Small town thinking is one of people that really want to stay together, and they look They support each other. They've got each other's back. And we, again, the thing we're missing is money. That's it. That seems like insurmountable odds, but knowing these people and knowing this area, as long as they have the funds, they'll pull it off. The thing they can't manufacture out of nowhere is money. They have everything else. They have the will and the desire and the work ethic.
With help from Paisley, along with West Virginia native Jennifer Gardner, and a host of donors, supporters, and volunteers, the boost was there, but the trail back hasn't been easy, and along the way there were setbacks.
Herbert Hoover High School, which opened its doors in 1963, will not reopen in the aftermath of devastating flooding. A new school will be built in its place from the ground up, possibly within 3 years. Principal Mike Kelley was sure the Hoover community would overcome what figures to be tough days ahead.
And I have no doubt that we're going to come through this and be better than ever.
So is Anita Edmonds, the mother of 3 Hoover grads and a Husky herself.
We're survivors on Elk River. We'll be strong again.
Herbert Hoover students will split half days with Elkview Middle School students until portable trailers are in place. Kanawha Superintendent Ron During said FEMA could cover between 75% and 90% of the cost of a new school.
It was one more in a series of heartbreaks.
Wednesday was the first day teachers in Kanawha County saw their classrooms since the June storm. For some, it was emotional.
You become numb because it's like, I don't know how to feel.
Julia Wright, a teacher at Herbert Hoover High School, says everything in her classroom was destroyed. She'll have to teach without books and, for now, only use her memory to teach. Wright is one of many Hoover teachers who will be housed at Elkview Middle School this year on a split schedule, sharing classrooms. Elkview teacher Mary Crumpler says these students need a sense of normalcy after all they've been through.
A lot of these kids don't have homes, so this is going to be the best thing that they have right now.
Jennifer Weibel, another Elkview teacher, agreed.
As long as we can make our school work as normal as it is, we'll be okay.
Students return to class on Monday. I'm Terry Hudasek, WVMetroNews.com.
It turned out instead of 3 years, it's taken 7 to see the school rebuilt. A new Clendenin Elementary School is also under construction and will take a while longer. A lot of students in the Elk River community have graduated from Hoover, having never set foot in a permanent high school classroom. But Principal Kelley knew then what he still knows today. The Hoover and the Elk River spirit is one of resiliency.
They're young people and they want to be out having fun, but even that, they've gone to the distribution sites to help deliver food to people, to load water in cars, to give people cleaning supplies. They've worked in communities, they've helped their neighbors, they've helped their families, and it's been an awesome thing to see kids be so remarkable in these tough times.
Pathetic when he said that. Mike Kelley, one of those guys who absolutely refused to allow this school to be disbanded or to fold or to have anybody have any negative attitude. He was adamant from day one that this day was going to happen. Let's go back down to the field and let's talk to a couple of the youngsters that are truly affected by this, probably more than anybody.
Okay, these are 2 seniors. They're senior cheerleaders at Herbert Hoover, Chloe May and Alexa. What's your last name?
Terry.
Alexa Terry, okay. Chloe, both of you are seniors, right? Tell me, when you first got a look at this school, how you felt.
It was amazing. I couldn't believe my eyes. I walked in the school. I expected it to be smaller than it actually was, and it was huge on the inside. I love all the teachers, and I'm happy that they got their own classroom and they don't have to share with anyone.
Can you get used to not being in the portables?
Oh, yes, definitely. Yeah, I can, for sure, 100%.
What was it like yesterday on the first day of school?
It was fun. I had a lot of fun seeing my friends. The teachers were very happy. Learning my classes wasn't very hard either. It's simple learning where they are.
Tell me about your flood story. Of course, that's 7 years ago. You're a senior in 5th grade, I guess, getting ready to go into 5th grade?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
My 5th grade trip?
Well, your flood story. I mean, when the flood happened.
Oh, well, I lived in Pinch when that happened, and it affected some of my family. Where I lived, I couldn't get to my house, so I did have to live, with some other family until it got cleared up. My cousin, my family went to middle school, so she would come home early because the middle school really wasn't having their full day. I was a little jealous of that because I did have to go full day. But other than that, it didn't really affect me as much because they did clear up my house pretty fast.
Well, I mean, you guys, both of you, will always have the story that you were seniors. You're going to be the first senior class to graduate from this new school.
Yeah, that's exciting. I'm really excited.
It is. Let's get Alexia in here. Okay. By the way, your dad's watching, right?
Yeah, my dad is right there.
Okay, good. Okay. Alexa, tell me, share just the anticipation probably in your sophomore year and your junior year that, hey, are we going to make it to the new school? Was that conversation?
It was definitely a conversation, wondering if we were actually going to get to the school or not. It was just a long wait, and, I wish that the past graduating classes would have gotten the opportunity to experience this and all of its glory and greatness, but I'm glad that we're the first, so.
Yeah, share me your thoughts on when you first saw the school, when you heard a lot about it, but then you're allowed to come up here. What were you thinking?
It honestly made me a little emotional the first day. When I walked in and finally saw everything, it kind of was a shock factor almost. Seeing everybody walk in and the shock on their faces and the happy big smiles, it really felt like home for a high school, and I'm glad that everybody finally gets to call this place home.
Is there really anything to Elk River Strong? Define that for me. What does that mean?
Elk River Strong means that our community can fight through absolutely anything and never lose their pride, never lose their connections with each other, and just all around become a team one-on-one. I mean, our football team is one heck of a team, that's for sure, but there is no team like our community. So.
All right, well said. Now, both of you, are you going to get good seats for Brad Paisley?
Well, I mean, we're on the sideline for sure, so.
All right, girls. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Jeff Jenkins with a couple of the Hoover cheerleaders here this evening, and obviously they are as excited as everybody else. Back down on the field, Dane Hatfield scrambling, rolling to his left, looking downfield, going to tuck it and keep it up across the 40, the 45, crosses midfield, and into John Marshall territory over on the far side. While Jeff was interviewing there, you might have heard a big explosion of crowd noise. There was about a 20-yard pickup there by Blake Fisher. Got a breakaway run.
Just a sophomore too. Fisher's getting some early playing time, and putting off a big run there. And with Hatfield here too, he picks up 15. John Marshall's bringing a lot of pressure, Chris, and if you're going to bring that pressure, you got to be able to contain a guy like Hatfield because he's going to bust off some big plays like that.
Indeed. Here he is dropping back again. Throw downfield. Wide open receiver is caught at the 21. Makes a man miss at the 15, the 10, the 5. Is he in? No, he's just short. And that was, again, Blake Fisher who caught the pass. Made it all the way down to the 1 yard line. Oh, he was so close.
Hatfield was looking at him all the way, too. He started on the left side of the field, a crossing route over the middle. He beats his guy again. That's the second time a Hoover receiver has gotten beyond the secondary.
Actually, they're going to say he was out at about the 4. Here's Hatfield. Hatfield keeps it up the middle. He pushes ahead down to about the 2 yard line. Dane Hatfield on the quarterback keeper. I guess what we're wondering is who's going to score the first touchdown in the history of this stadium, and I think we're about to find out, even though it is just a scrimmage.
Hatfield has 4 rushes now, already 26 yards. He's showing his dual threat ability, putting the ball through the air, that big gain of 40 yards to Fisher. And also on the ground game, will they go back to him? They got 2 backs in the backfield.
Yeah, they got Fisher back there and also Rocco Fry to the left. Hatfield is between them. Calling for the ball. Hands it off to Fisher. Fisher's going to be hit. He's not going to make it. In fact, might lose a yard. Good defense that time. Great penetration for John Marshall. Getting in there was Brooks Harrison to make the stop, and that's going to bring up 3rd down and goal here for the Huskies.
Brady Dean got back there, too, limiting Fisher to no gain. 3rd down and goal, and obviously this is 2-play territory. You're going to try to punch it in either way.
And I tell you what, that John Marshall line is no slouch. Now they've got some youngsters in the backfield, but all their line is seniors, and all of them are huge.
A lot of meat there in the trenches, Chris.
3rd down and goal. Hatfield keeps it right side. He's at the 5. He's at the 10. At the 5 and in. Touchdown. Herbert Hoover. Dane Hatfield scores the first touchdown in competition here at the new Husky Stadium at Elkview.
3 yards out. Let your star make the play. Nice blocking on the edge by the receivers. The offensive line starting it off by setting that edge and allowing Hatfield to get to the corner. And he shows off some more of his athletic ability, diving towards that pylon and getting in. Setting history right there. First ever score.
Indeed, no doubt about it. Well, we got on to attempt the extra point is number 82, who's not listed on the roster. So It looks like Sam Key's going to be the holder. The kick is up, and the kick is good. So it's a touchdown and an extra point, 7-0 Hoover. We'll take a break, and we'll be back with more from the new Herbert Hoover High School in a moment, right after this on 580 WCHS.
At Pew Furniture Warehouse Showrooms, we are unloading truck after truck. Shipments of lift chairs, baby furniture, and I mean loads of baby furniture. Amish-made bedrooms and dining rooms. When buying Amish furniture, you can have it just the way you want. Our made in West Virginia Almost Heaven mattresses. Don't forget these mattresses are flippable. We also carry a good selection of power bases and hybrid mattresses. Check out our selection of sofas, reclining furniture, and sleeper sofas made here in the USA. We're offering an additional 10% off store-wide on the tagged price, excluding clearance items. Clearance area changes weekly. Buy it today and have it in your home tomorrow. We offer 12 months same as cash to qualified buyers. Pew Furniture Warehouse Showrooms, 1320 Smith Street, Charleston. Open Monday through Friday, 10 to 5:30, Saturday, 10 to 5, Sunday closed.
Six-play drive capped off by Dane Hatfield, jumping into the end zone from 3 yards out. It was all set up by that big 40-yard gain through the air, hooking up with the sophomore Blake Fisher. That set him up inside the red zone, Chris.
Yeah, consider the fact that this is a scrimmage. They didn't even post the score. We got 3:36. Who knows if that means anything. John Marshall gets it on the 20, and they push ahead with a run up to about, actually they put it on the 30, up to about the 35-yard line, 5-yard pickup for John Marshall. And I tell you what, the man that a lot of people are here to see is Brad Paisley, obviously, who will be performing in the end zone here once the game is over. The scrimmage is over this afternoon. I got an opportunity earlier today to sit down and have a conversation
Pew
with Brad.
Furniture Warehouse Showrooms, John's Cyclery, and
Well, welcome home, my man.
It's great to be home. Look at this. What have you done?
Well, I didn't do much of anything, but I do remember 7 years ago when you came to the old Herbert Hoover High School.
Yeah.
You and I and Malia Fisher walked into that band room with mud up to our ankles, and you saw a pile of guitars.
Yeah.
I could tell in your voice that really struck you when you saw that.
Yeah, there was nothing like realizing from a musician standpoint the devastation here. I mean, it's one thing to see hallways with lockers and things like that, but as a musician, these things that helped shape who I am, I can't imagine walking in to a music room in a school where I went and seeing it look like this looked. Mm-hmm. And that's what's so striking about how beautiful this is right here.
Yeah, amazingly, you and I are standing in the new Hoover band room with a rack of guitars in the corner.
Yeah, it's crazy. Look at that. And those are going to be out of tune already if they're not.
Tell us a little bit about why this was important to you to come and do this tonight.
Well, it's important to see something through, and not only that, but selfishly, it's great to see it. It's one thing to get a postcard, but it's another thing to get to see this myself. And selfishly, I'm thrilled I'm here because it's so much more impactful in person. You could send me pictures of this and it wouldn't feel the same.
Mm-hmm. And you and others stepped forward. I mean, when you showed up, it wasn't just a photo op, and I think you proved that. You led the fundraising effort that helped so many people that lost so much in this flood, and that was important to you.
Yeah, I mean, I was really lucky that they let me be a part of this because, when they ask for help, it's nice to be in a position where you can, and I'm just glad this exists. I can't believe that this came together this nicely, and you guys, I mean, you deserve it.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about what it's like to be back home. I mean, when's the last time you came to a high school football game?
Man, it's been a while. There's nothing like it. I mean, I grew up, that was every Friday, even before I was in high school in my hometown, which I understand is playing you guys this evening. Don't worry. I said I'm hoping for a tie, but you can beat them.
I remember seeing you sing the national anthem at the state tournament, state basketball tournament. Do you remember that?
When I was a kid?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a good basketball team when I was in high school.
Yeah.
A couple of my best friends were on it, and they were They were really good. That was in Charleston.
Yeah. How often do you get back here?
So I was back a couple of times a year, really. I was back in the spring, and we filmed a bunch of stuff towards the new river and did a bunch of stuff a few days there. And every time I'm here, I wish I could come more.
Do you get any opportunities, just you, the wife, and the kids, get in the car and head to West Virginia to see Grandpa? Or
now and then we have. It's been a little while, but that's always so much fun for me, seeing them. Like, one of the greatest sights I've ever seen was we have a small creek that feeds the Ohio River up in Glendale and Moundsville called Fish Creek. Mm-hmm. Everybody calls it Fish Creek.
I've fished there.
Yeah, it's a pretty good place.
Oh, yeah.
I used to grow up doing that with my grandpa. And so I have a picture of both of my kids when they were a little older than toddlers. They were probably 6 and 4 probably, and they were decked out in West Virginia garb with their shoes off, hunting crawdads in Fish Creek, and that's pretty great.
Doesn't get any better than that.
No, it was like, it's something we do in Tennessee a little bit, but not like that, Not in the spot I did growing up. It's pretty wild to see them in your own terrain.
Brad, I appreciate you taking a little bit of time to speak to us. Is there any message you'd want to convey to our listeners that are listening in tonight?
I would want to say that this place truly, it just encompasses the West Virginia spirit of, you know what, if it burns down, we're going to rebuild it. If it's flooded, we're going to fix it. It's just that thing. And this is a state that helps each other, and I'm thrilled to have been a small part of it.
Thank you so much for speaking to me today, and I'd say on behalf of everybody listening, thanks for doing what you do and just being part of this.
Thank you for being so, it seems like you guys have been so proud of me all along, and I appreciate that.
Brad Paisley from earlier today. Of course I know where Fish Creek is.
Who would ask Mr. West Virginia Outdoors if they know where Fish Creek is?
I've actually fished in Fish Creek. It dumps into the Ohio River, and for a little ways up the river, up the creek, you can take a boat up in there and fish. And that's a couple of fishing tournaments I did up in the Moundsville area. We went up Fish Creek. That's a well-known creek for those guys listening that do some fishing on that upper Ohio River. Well, it looks like that Hoover is backed up against their own end zone. Hatfield tries to hand it off. Did they get a safety there?
It was close.
Obstructed view, and I think they deliberately put it down there because I think Joey Fields wanted to do some work with you back against the wall. So the ball's literally spotted on Hoover's 1 yard line. They're on offense, operating out of their own end zone.
In a 3rd and long situation here also, it's kind of worst case scenario. You're backed up with your own goalposts just a couple of feet behind you.
Yeah, and he's got he's got Rocco Fry back there with him, and also Sims. Drops back, he's hit, he's out of the end zone. That's definitely a safety there. So I'm sure that's not how Joey Fields drew it up, because you could just tell by the look of frustration on his face that didn't go quite the way he wanted it to. I mentioned this earlier, though, and we talked about the fact the size of this John Marshall line, their offensive line, they're all seniors. And just listen to this as we go across the front. 305, 310, 290, 260, 230, 205. That's a big bunch of boys up front.
It sure is. And Andreas Hunter, hopefully I got that first name right, but he stands at 6'5", 305, and he sticks out. He's above them all for sure.
He's a giant human. Well, we've got a break in the action down on the field. Looks like the first quarter has come to an end, but let's take another break, and we've got much more coverage to come from here at the dedication of the new Herbert Hoover High School field and Herbert Hoover High School on 580 WCHS, the voice of Charleston.
Got chronic joint pain but want to avoid steroids and surgery? Take some advice from pro football legend Emmitt Smith. Call QC Kinetics.
Let QC Kinetics help you improve your quality of life with biologic therapies that get your body to repair and restore damaged tissue.
These exciting new regenerative treatments from local medical professionals can help your body heal itself with lasting pain relief.
Trust me, you want to avoid surgery if you can. Check out these biologic treatments to see what your options are.
QC Kinetics. Restorative, regenerative solutions with no downtime, no surgery, no drugs.
I'm talking about joint pain we all can relate to in your knees, your shoulders, your hips, and your lower back. They'll get you feeling good again.
Get relief now.
What are you waiting on? Make the call to QC Kinetics. Tell them Emmitt Smith sent you.
Call QC Kinetics 304-202-5566. That's 304-202-5566. 304-202-5566.
The new Herbert Hoover High School. Chris Lawrence with you, along with Jarrett Lewis, and Jeff Jenkins is down on the field.
You know, as the game's going on, I here and there, I try to find Jeff and where he's at, but you can't really find him because he's got the red on, and so does about half of this stadium.
Well, he wore a Cincinnati Reds hat because he's Jeff Jenkins.
Supporting the right team.
Hey, Chris, I've got David Price here.
Fire away.
The new executive director of the SSAC. He's got his feet wet here, former superintendent down in Raleigh County. And you know what opening new schools are like. Mr. Executive Director, tell me about this place. It's
just amazing. They've done a wonderful job with it. I know a lot of frustration, a lot of heartache over the last 7 years, but what a day and what an opportunity for Elk River and the Hoover community.
I mean, we've talked about this over and over, but, I mean, this is an emotional day here, isn't it?
Oh, it is, and you can tell when Principal Mike Kelley was speaking, you know, he's heart and soul Hoover guy, his whole life, played here, you know, and just it's just a great day. It's just a great day. Beautiful facility, and going to serve the kids on this in this area well for generations to come.
Well, you know, we're about ready to get this thing started, aren't we, football, right? I mean, you got the first game. Wednesday night with you guys, right? Doddridge County and St. Mary's, and we'll be on the air with Metro News.
Right, and we're excited about that. It's that time of year. I was looking at the calendar the other day. It's every week now until February with the Super Bowl that we get to have football, so we're excited.
Very excited, very excited. And how are you settling in down there in Parkersburg?
Well, you know, it's one day at a time, but, you know, have Wayne, Cindy, and Dan there, and all of our clinicians that help us out all over the place. So it's really been a smooth transition for us, and, you know, these guys are just great.
Sports is about winners and losers, but today, here, everybody is a winner.
Well, it is, and, you know, just a great day and a celebration for here in Elk River.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. All right, David Price, Executive Director, SSAC.
All right, Jeff Jenkins, I got an assignment for you down there.
Okay.
It's the scrimmage, so things probably aren't completely ironed out. They don't have all the jerseys exactly right, all the numbers exactly right. We got a new running back in the game for Hoover, number 31, and he's not listed on my roster. So would you care to ask one of those young men who is number 31, because he just had a run for no gain. He's back there by Dane Hatfield, and Hatfield on this play has got trips to the left and one man out to the right. Ball is spotted at the Hoover 30-yard line. Looks like second down and 10. And they're going to shift, take one of those trips. That's going to be, Blake Fisher. And they're going to move him over to the right side. So they got twin receivers either way with the aforementioned number 31 to the left.
Caden Hughes.
Yes. Here's Hatfield dropping back. He looks, rolls to his left. Pressure comes. He tries to avoid it. He gets hit in the backfield. Avoids one tackle up over the 30 to about the 34-yard line. So Hatfield had to scramble on that. Good pressure by John Marshall, Jarrett.
They're still bringing it, Chris, and you know, it could have ended up being a no-gain loss of one, but there's Hatfield again making the first guy miss. You got to contain him. You got to swarm to Hatfield. He's going to keep his eyes downfield because he wants to look for the big play, but if nothing's there, he's going to tuck it and run. He's got good feet. He still managed to get 3 yards out of what should have been probably a loss of 1 or 2.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And what did he say Hughes' first name was?
Caden.
Caden, K-A-D-E-N. Got it.
Well, you can tell.
It's a dress rehearsal for the football season for us as well, guys.
That's right.
So Joey Fields, they have to stop play. Now they're ready to go. They roll the clock.
I'm sure we're not even halfway through this scrimmage, but I think coaches are happy that, you know, they have this opportunity. There's been a lot of jumping off sides, a lot of going with the hard count. Guys on the front lines are getting a little antsy. There's been a couple of offsides, a couple of false start penalties. So here's a good chance to get.
And they're not doing
a
lot of special teams or anything like that. I mean, it's really working on what you want to work on, which is why we've not given a whole lot of attention to the competition, to the game itself.
If you're keeping score at home, it's 7-2.
Yes. Man in motion going left to right. And I believe that's going to be another youngster that we don't have a name on, but it was number 8. And there's going to be a flag against Hoover because I think his motion was illegal. So they have a conversation with young Mr. number 8. And Joey Fields is giving him some instruction about how you go in motion. So it looks like we got twin receivers either way again for Dane Hatfield. Shotgun formation. Here's Hatfield. Drops back. Throws across the middle. It is complete over the mid to midfield. Coming down with the ball that time was Blake Fisher. And Blake Fisher is quickly emerging as the guy for Dane Hatfield, his favorite receiver.
Another long gain. Fisher with his second grab. He's got 60 yards on his 2 catches.
Yeah, he's had a couple of big ones tonight. One that he almost took it to the house, but got stopped just shy of getting there, and that's where Hoover's touchdown came a couple plays later by Dane Hatfield on a scramble. Here's Hatfield, twin receivers again. Hughes to his left. Hatfield drops back, good protection. Now he's going to tuck it and run. He's across the 45 and knocked out of bounds at about the 41-yard line goes Hatfield.
Hatfield's really impressive for a junior. And again, this is just a scrimmage, but you can tell his football IQ is tremendous. He goes through his first read, then his second read. Nothing's there. So let me use my second best tool, and that's my feet, and I'm going to pick up 5 or 6 yards.
Yeah, he's the third of 3 brothers who have played here, and he will proudly tell you that he's the best.
You were giving me a rundown the other day at the newsroom on how good the Hatfield family tree is with football here.
Indeed. And it looks like John Marshall's going to get called offsides. Looks like the hard count got them as the middle of that defensive line pulled forward. But they're not going to assess anything. They're just going to go, don't do that. That's against the rules. And roll the clock, and here we go.
Referees probably enjoy wearing shorts for the scrimmage. That's what they got on.
They do. It's a warm evening here at Hoover Stadium. I tell you what, though, I was noticing, if you're on the Hoover side, even for an afternoon game, once that sun's down, you're golden. Now, if you're on the visitor side, you're looking straight into that sun.
Well done, Hoover staff, on that design right
Hatfield, long pass down. It is complete and into the end zone. Touchdown, Blake Fisher. 41 yards from Dane Hatfield to Blake Fisher. He caught it at the 5. He'd beaten his man by 10 yards. And Hoover puts their second touchdown on the board this evening, even though they're not putting it on the board.
Another quick strike, another receiver with their speed. That good first move, and they get beyond the cornerback. Hatfield, that's going to be his first read. All right, I got
Absolutely.
my stud Fisher on the outside. If he beats his guy right then and there, that's my go-to spot. He was wide open down the field, 41 yards. That's the third catch that Fisher has had, and they've all been 19 yards or more.
He's definitely emerging as the connection that if you're an opposing coach, you're going to have to keep an eye on. Here's the extra point. It's in the air. And it's good. So even though we're not keeping score, I guess that would be 14-2, Herbert Hoover. We got to take a break. We've got more coverage of the dedication game and the dedication of Herbert Hoover High School here at Elkview. I'm Chris Lawrence on 580 WCHS, the voice of Charleston.
Whether you enjoy the classic pepperoni and cheese or a fancy specialty with all of the toppings, you'll find the freshest pizzas at Roni's Pizza Bar, made with their own homemade dough using local ingredients and family recipes. Roni's paninis are perfect for a quick lunch retreat. The Blue Creek Special is a local favorite you have to try. They also offer a wide range of appetizers, including delicious elk wings, and if you want to try something a little on the lighter side, Roni's has a selection of tasty house, Caesar, and Greek salads. Book now for parties and catering. Call 304-965-2592. Roni's Pizza Bar. Just thrive with 5 at the best community bank in the Kanawha Valley, Poca Valley Bank. Poca Valley Bank is now offering a certificate of deposit special, 10-month APY, annual percentage yield 5%. Take advantage of this great rate to grow your savings. For more information, stop by a Poca Valley Bank location today or call 844-782-2651. Poca Valley Bank, where relationships matter. Certain terms and conditions apply. Rates based on minimum annual percentage yield. Subject to change without notice. Minimum deposit required of $10,000 of new money not currently on deposit with Poca Valley Bank to receive APY. Member FDIC.
High-powered Huskies offense, 41 yards through the air. The connection of Hatfield and Fisher strikes again. They each are over 100 yards of offense. 5-play drive ends there, and the Huskies, if you're keeping score at home, it's 14-2.
And John Marshall has brought in their second sophomore quarterback, Jackson Helms. Caden Knapp started the game. He's the sophomore starter. Jackson Helms is also the he will probably split time as well. Mark Caesar still trying to figure out who's going to be the starter. Let's go back down to the field. Jeff Jenkins has caught up with another familiar name in the community who was right there with her whole family helping out when the flood occurred back in 2016.
Yeah, Montague County. Montague County. Flashback. Kanawha County Circuit Judge Mary Claire Akers is here. And Judge Akers, you and your husband, JB, worked long and hard. I mean, you didn't do it for show or anything, but you sense of community in 2016. You guys went up, and I saw you in Clendenin, working hard, and now the culmination of this. How are you feeling about this today?
I have to say I was very emotional driving up the hill. My husband and I came out right after the flood happened. My husband started cleaning houses. I started hitting the grill, and we were here for a long time. My husband organized a lot of return relief help a couple years into it, and we've been in this community for a long time. It's just full of great people who deserve the best of everything. And it was really surreal kind of to drive up and remember what we were doing this time 7 years ago.
Yeah, we drove down by the portables on the way in just to kind of get a little bit of perspective, right?
Oh, this is an amazing facility. It really is. These kids are lucky. I'm so glad that they have it. I can't wait to see what comes out of this high school because I think it's going to be great things.
It is. And there was a lot said today about West Virginia strong and Elk River strong, and it is. I mean, everybody loves a story about perseverance, and this is what this is.
This absolutely is. I mean, there were times I'm sure they thought they would never get it done, and I'm sure there were just hard times and tears and all kinds of struggle, but here they are tonight, and it's so great to see it. It really is.
Yeah, it is. We're all enjoying this, aren't we?
I am. I'm having a blast. I'm getting to see a lot of people that we met during that time, and of course Kay Summers is out here, the mayor of everything, I think. And so it's full of a lot of great people, and I'm very, very happy to be here.
How many hamburgers did you flip up there during those days?
I have no idea. It feels like thousands. I have no idea. They were all donated by all kinds of people, and we just stayed out there and cooked. I have no clue. A lot.
All right, Kanawha County Circuit Judge Mary Claire Akers.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Chris.
Thanks a lot, Jeff. Yes, Judge Akers and her husband, JB, were there. And, Jerry, that area was in the parking lot of the Foodland in Clendenin, which the Foodland was destroyed. But the parking lot, they had cleared the mud out of it, and that once they got that done, they moved. I mentioned earlier that out on Interstate 79 at the exit was where all the distribution was happening. They sort of moved that to that parking lot, and that was the focus of everything during those couple of weeks. Here's a long pass downfield. Is going to be incomplete by John Marshall. Jackson Helms trying to find his receiver over the middle, Demario White, and comes up a little bit short. Another thing that happened, too, was when the flood occurred, Jarrett, not only was the school destroyed, the field house at Herbert Hoover was destroyed, and all of the equipment in it. They had no football gear. Upriver at Clay County, we heard from Roger Hanshaw a moment ago, the school didn't get destroyed, but the basement did get flooded at the school. That's where the football team had all of their gear and their locker room and their weight room. I was there the day they were cleaning that up. Same thing happened over in Richwood. The Richwood High School got flooded out. All of their football gear was gone. And there were 3 other middle schools that also lost all of their football gear. So football was up in the air for that particular year. And that became a story as well. As we look back, 3 high school football teams, 3 middle school teams were devastated by the flood, but football is an important distraction. And that year, and ever since, it has been more important than ever to rally the community. And we look back now at that aspect of flood recovery here on the air at 580 WCHS.
We did lose all of our football equipment. Everything related to football is gone except the football field. We are cleaning that out today as we speak. There's about 5 inches of mud in that locker room, and everything is ruined.
That's Melinda Isaacs, the principal of Clay County High School in 2016, speaking with Metro News just days after the Clay County football locker room was underwater. The 2016 flood left Herbert Hoover and Richwood High Schools with nothing to start the fall football season.
Clay County coach Jason Nichols says everything for the football program has been lost, but he vows they'll have a football season this fall because many of his players have lost everything, and football is the one thing they have to look forward to after this devastating summer. In Clay, I'm Chris Lawrence, WVMetroNews.com.
Summer workouts for those teams became a daily chore of shoveling mud, tossing out belongings, and hoping for help. It was help which came from some other high-profile West Virginia natives, Marion County native and Alabama coach Nick Saban, and Harrison County native and then Florida State head coach Jimbo Fisher, and his assistant Rick Trickett of Preston County rallied high school coaches in their state to help out.
A tractor trailer loaded to the gills with football equipment from the state of Florida rolled into Dunbar Friday afternoon. That after a Thursday night delivery of another truckload of gear from the state of Alabama. High school coaches across both states answering the call of Rick Trickett, Jimbo Fisher, and Nick Saban, West Virginia natives who wanted to help their home state when they heard high school football programs here were flooded out. Also in this warehouse in Dunbar, hundreds of boxes of Nike shoes donated by West Virginia University, as well as other gear. All of this will be inventoried here in Dunbar, then moved to Coonskin Parks Armory on Wednesday for distribution to the 6 schools in the state that lost everything in the flood. In Dunbar, I'm Chris Lawrence, WVMetroNews.com.
Fisher and Trickett not only sent the gear, but paid a visit to the 3 teams and all of their coaching staffs, offering them encouragement and reassurance.
There's nothing like athletics to bring a community back together. And to tell those kids maybe their senior year that they're going to lose a whole year of ball just because of tragedy, and we can overcome everything in our lives. And I think it's important for the communities to heal. I think it brings you together, it brings camaraderie, and just being able to sit up there and forget things for 2 or 3 hours on a Friday night, I think it's huge in the healing process of what they're going to go through. Life's going to hit you with so many tragedies. And I know, unfortunately, some of these kids, they get them at earlier ages than others, but it's how you deal with those situations that are going to make your life and the choices you make out of it. I mean, life's not fair. I tell our guys every day, we want fair. Life isn't fair. Ball isn't fair. Things aren't fair. So you got to deal with the hand that you're dealt, and you got to make the best out of it. And to me, that's what West Virginia people do. That's the people of this state are always, to me, hard-nosed, tough-minded people that figure out a way to get it done.
Heartbreaking, because especially my senior year, just coming in and seeing everything destroyed by the flood and mud everywhere, and technically we weren't even allowed to touch anything, so we couldn't even begin cleaning it until people looked at it. I'm really impressed from all the people that decided to help us, and it's really, really nice equipment, and I can't be more thankful for everything they've done. From all the devastation we've had, it just really brings hope that people want to help such a small town in Richwood and other places in West Virginia.
It's amazing what some universities that are not close to home but have that West Virginia tie, what they've done to chip in and help in the effort. The outreach has been incredible as far as not just local, but just, from far away. You don't understand the things that you take for granted until something like this happens, and just even little things like electricity and water and stuff like that, until you lose them. I can't imagine someone losing everything, and it puts things into perspective. Well, we start Monday, and we still have a little bit of uncertainty of where we're actually going to be having school this year. So, like you mentioned earlier, it's kind of good to get them in that sense of normalcy. That way they feel a little bit more comfortable going into the season and the school year. You can't thank them enough for what they've done for us. Not just for us, all the schools that were affected. It's amazing.
They're not missing a beat. The Herbert Hoover High School marching band is standing a little taller and playing a little sharper since historic floodwaters destroyed the school building.
I think there's been a little drive with everybody just to push us to see how hard we can go.
Longtime band director Malia Fisher telling her students during a Wednesday band rehearsal, the June flood does not define the band or their abilities.
It doesn't. And, it's brought a lot of attention to us. But it doesn't.
It's the little things that mean everything this time of year, she says, as the group heads into competition season with this year's show entitled One for the Road, a program based on construction work. The band has been rehearsing at Elkview Middle School, where Hoover students are attending on a split schedule until portable classrooms are installed on campus. It's been a difficult adjustment for those students who witnessed ruined instruments, uniforms, and other equipment.
There was no way to describe it, honestly.
Yeah, I don't think that we knew what to think.
Fisher says the biggest challenge has been just figuring it out.
How do you do it? How do I handle this? How do I accept this donation from somebody? Find a place to store it. It's been the craziest adventure I've ever been on, and school didn't prepare me for this.
They were able to restock their instruments with the help of nationwide donations.
We needed 3 trumpets that came in. We needed 3 saxes that came in. I needed a sousaphone that came about. We've been blessed.
No jeans and t-shirts for this band. Fisher says they'll be wearing donated uniforms from a high school in Alexandria, Virginia that bears an A on the chest.
We were going to try to change it to an H, and I thought, we need to be humble and just go with what we got.
Coming together as a team, it's what senior band members say keeps them marching on.
Everything is as one this year. I'm not saying that it wasn't like that every year, but it's definitely, especially this year, we all work together a lot more.
We had some people in the band who were affected by the flood, and then, that just brought us even closer to help them or just do anything.
The students say tonight, leave the pity claps at home. They want to be recognized with a real applause for putting on a good show like they do every year.
We don't want people to look at us and see the flood. We want them to look at us and see an amazing band.
Yeah. A band that will continue on as the pride of Elk River, working hard to shed light on what Fisher defines as the town's new normal.
Sometimes the worst brings out the best in you, and maybe that's what's going on with our community.
For the morning news, I'm Carrie Hudasak.
And then, when September arrived, the Friday night lights went on. In Richwood, Clay, and at Joe Eddie Cali Field at Falling Rock, only a couple of months after the playing surface was covered by the Elk River. The Huskies played their first home game.
You look up in the stands, see all these people here, and you can tell that they believe in us, and what this game is really symbolic as being a step going in the right direction for this community and this school.
After the flood, we all really honestly thought that we wouldn't be back here. We thought that, our school is gone, our fields are gone, but being here tonight shows that, working hard and everybody working together and persevering through these really tough obstacles can get us to some big places.
This evening, the brand new Herbert Hoover High School stands across the road from us, and back down on the field. Hold on just a second, Jeff. Back down on the field, John Marshall has struck pay dirt as Caden Knapp hit DeMario White on a crossing route, wide open, touchdown Monarchs, and the extra point is good. Down on the field, Jeff Jenkins.
Well, here she is. We just heard her we just flashed back, Leah, to the flood coverage, and our Carrie Hudasek talking to you. You probably remember her coming up and talking to you. And, wow, what does it mean to you?
It's amazing. I'm overwhelmed. I mean, it's just, I'm soft-hearted, so it's getting me to the core, but it's amazing, it's beautiful, and, it's full circle.
How did this community hold together?
Well, there's a lot of grit in this community. And I was told by the people from Save the Children when they came in 2016 that they were amazed. People were working, trying to take care of themselves. They must stand out with their hands held open, going, hey, please help us. It was like we're going to take care of ourselves, and that's the way this community works.
You remember the uniforms with the A on the chest? Remember?
Yes, Dale, still have one that's going in they're built and news.
Well, your band performed. It was the first sounds heard in this new stadium today was your band, and that had to make a proud moment for you.
Yeah, I got a little emotional when we marched 70s, and that's when the KRT shuttles. It's game time. Oh my gosh! And I got I don't get chills, but I get tears, and tears were starting.
We're sitting here in front of the band bleachers. You guys going to have your own set of bleachers here. These are nice.
Yeah, they are nice, and kind of helps us be part of the game. We're close to the field, so we get to see the action, and, we get to cheer on our boys.
All right, Malia, good seeing you.
And you too. Thank you.
Chris?
There she is, Malia Fisher. Boy, I remember walking into that band room with her and with Brad Paisley and Senator Manchin and Capito were there. I mean, I had boots on, and you couldn't see my feet. It was so much mud. And the drum, as Brad said, was floating, like the big bass drum is floating. There's a pile of guitars that are just ruined. And then out in the parking lot, as I mentioned early on in the broadcast, they had tried to salvage as much as they could, and they had 4 or 5 pictures of performances from past years with band members, and they were in plastic, but they were wet. You could tell they were soaked, and you're thinking, man, that stuff's going to be ruined. I even saw they had an H, like a letter you would wear on a Letterman jacket from the band. All of that was laying out in the parking lot, drying in the sun. This beautiful blue and white color on everything, and it was. And as I went into the band room today, I saw those pictures that had been waterlogged in the parking lot hanging up. As we go back down to the field, Dane Hatfield tearing off a big run. Looks like he pushed it up over midfield to about the John Marshall 48-yard line. They start that on the 30, so that's probably about a, 10, 22-yard run for Dane Hatfield?
22 is exactly right.
Yeah, so Dane Hatfield still down there. It's got Rocco Fry back in there. Looks like they've got the starters back in. About 5:22 to go here. I don't know exactly if they're going to play, a halftime here and then a full quarter or what, because I was told that the game's got to be over at 7, so we're getting close to that. But that time they're going to hand it off to, that was Rocco Fry on the carry. He's going to pick up a couple, take it down to the John Marshall 45-yard line.
Chris, the most popular guy here is Mike Kelley, and so he's working the crowd. I'm right beside him.
Oh, okay.
Not letting him out of my sight, so hopefully we'll get him in a second.
All right, we've got an offsides by John Marshall. Boy, they were showing blitz. Let's go down.
Got him right here.
Let's go down to the crowd and talk to Jeff Jenkins and the man who was really responsible for holding it all together for this day.
Man, if you follow this guy around, Chris, you have no problem getting your steps in.
Yeah, we've been moving pretty good today.
Well, there's still more to do this evening, but I think it's gone wonderfully well.
I agree. It's been a great day. We're blessed with great weather. There was a lot of planning that went into this, and believe me, I had a lot of help. Well, the Huskies just scored.
There you go.
We'll let him make it. Blake Fisher with a breakaway run and into the end zone. Touchdown, Herbert Hoover.
But we had a lot of help here. People pitched in. Kay Summers was amazing. County Commission, law enforcement, emergency medical services. The county helped. We just had so much help, and I'm so grateful for it, and so grateful to Mr. Paisley for coming. And it's going to be a great night. I mean, it's already been a great night, and it's just going to get better and better when Brad comes on. I expect the crowd's going to go crazy for it.
Now, Mike, yes, Brad Paisley's father. Yes, sir.
This guy, Mr. Mike Kelley, is a rock star. I know I've used that word a lot today, but I can't think of anything else because he made this place rock, and he worked effortlessly. Every time I called, he answered the phone but once. I think his wife wouldn't let him that one time. But other than that, it's just been really a great thing to work with these guys. And this, as you can see, we got John Marshall people here. We've got all these Herbert Hoover people. We've had all the politicians here. They all got their say. And now they've got it's a great school, and it's because of this guy, Mike Kelley, Kelley. It's
E-Y. We know it's E-Y, yeah. And Doug Paisley there. Mike, the stand, I mean, this is a big step up as far as numbers of seats.
Yes.
Somebody may come and say, can Hoover really fill that? Look at that crowd, Mike.
Yeah, it's a great crowd tonight. People came out. We thought they would. And again, we're blessed with great weather, and our support for our football team has really ramped up the last several years under Coach Fields because we've been so successful. Proud of the boys and what they're doing. Proud of all of our kids for what they're doing, and so it's just a great night. I don't think it could have gone any better. Other than I think I lost my car keys. I got to go find those.
All right, 2 more questions. Number 1. You're an educator at heart. That's what you do. Mm-hmm. This is a big event, but I'm sure you want to get the day-to-day education start to roll at Hoover.
Yes, Friday we went through an orientation type thing, and we've still got some work to do in the building. We're working around that, but we are we're hoping that not hoping, but Monday we will get to. Getting back to doing school, and we've gotten pretty good at that.
Final question. 7 years ago, we talked to you, and you said right at the beginning, we will stay here, we will educate in this community, And I remember the school board meeting up in the auditorium, right?
Mm-hmm.
And some things were said. And you said, we will educate here, and that's what happened.
That is exactly what happened. And thankfully, this community trusted in me and trusted in my staff that we weren't going to let things fall. But ultimately, the credit for that goes to the students, because they were the ones that had to buy in that this wasn't going to be a reason for us to fail, and they have.
Okay, Mike, great day. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
Okay, buddy. All right, Chris.
Jeff Jenkins along with Doug Paisley and also Mike Kelley down there. And Jared, he's exactly right. There was talk early on that that Herbert Hoover was just going to go away and the students would be split up between other schools in the county. And Mike Kelley was the guy who said, it's not going to happen. This community is going to stay together. We're going to be Herbert Hoover High School. The students are going to go to school somewhere, and they're going to go to school together. And that's exactly why we're here today.
You know, sometimes it just takes that one person to say something. And everyone who spoke at that podium before they cut the ribbon officially on this new field, they all said it started with this guy. It started with Mike Kelley, and he's got to be the most hardworking. He's got to be the most tired guy in Kanawha County.
And he will not talk about that. He will not accept any credit for that, but he should. Because he was the guy that everybody was looking to, and he went, no, we're staying here. He's from here. He played ball here. He was a student at Hoover. He knows the community, and he loves the community, and he was adamant that there was going to be a Herbert Hoover High School, and it was going to be right here somewhere in this same community where we are today.
I had the pleasure of talking to Mr. Kelley for when Herbert Hoover went through graduation ceremonies, and they had him at the Municipal Auditorium over in Charleston in the capital city, and just had the pleasure of talking to him, and you could tell right off the bat. That was my first time meeting him, and you could tell right off the bat, wow, this guy, he's hardworking.
Yeah.
you just respect the heck out of him. But just a guy you can really look towards for leadership, and you can look up to as a really good role model.
And what access he has given us. He's another reason we're here, because he allowed it. He wanted us to be part of this. So we are grateful to him, and this community owes him a big debt of gratitude.
I really don't think this event could go any better. And we still have a concert to go through, but
picked off in the middle, coming down with the interception, Avery Pennell.
Good timing there.
Yeah, picks off the pass of Caden Knapp of John Marshall, so the Huskies get an interception, and unfortunately it looks like Pennell is down after he was stopped at about the 39-yard line. All right, and with that, we've got a break in the action, and we need to get a break in as well. So we'll be back with more from here at Herbert Hoover High School on 580 WCHS, the voice of Charleston.
I want to speak to the manager.
That would be me, ma'am.
Look here, you. This is my recipe from my recipe box, and I want to know how you got it.
I assure you, ma'am, this is our recipe. We've got some really great cooks here, and we'd never steal your recipe. Ma'am, what are you doing?
Taking off my shoes, punk. It's about to get real.
We've got some great food here at Blanche's Family Diner. So good, you might want to leave Grandma at home. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, Blanche's Family Diner, located in Clendenin.
Gibson Family Dentistry has been serving the Elk River community for over 40 years. At Gibson Family Dentistry, we offer a comprehensive list of general, restorative, and cosmetic dental services to meet the needs of the whole family. Gibson Family Dentistry's goal is to assist each patient in achieving and maintaining long-term dental health and a beautiful smile. Located on Elk River Road across from Elkview Middle School, we are excited about the new Herbert Hoover High School, since the Gibson Family Dentistry doctors and staff are Hoover graduates, serving the Huskies family. Go Huskies!
Let's talk about your business phone system. It's old and needs updated, but you probably think, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. There are many benefits to a new phone system from Comax Business Systems. The sound is much clearer. Everyone in your office can have a dedicated line that will remote call forward from their cell phones, and your voicemail will actually work. Comax's digital phone systems are competitively priced and efficient. Call Comax Business Systems for a free quote today. Comax Business Systems. We've kept West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient for 25 years.
Avery Pennell off the field after the interception and the injury. They're attending to him over here on the sideline. Certainly hope he'll be back, Jarrett, because, man, what a contributor he is to this Huskies, particularly on defense, but on offense as well. He's had a good day.
He's been showing up on both sides of the ball. He just had that interception, and now here's a big run broken off.
Big old Caden Hughes, and he continues to carry bodies downfield with him. He's at the 30, the 20, and on down to about the 15 and across the 15. Flag down at the end of the play. Caden Hughes But he gets up a little gimpy as well, and he's going to limp toward the sideline. Looks like he's favoring that left leg, either ankle or knee, not sure, but he's coming off the field under his own power, and they're going to run Rocco Fry back out there. Didn't catch what the penalty was, but doubt they're going to assess it anyway. That's going to set Hoover up with a 1st and 10. Looks like they're at John Marshall's 13-yard line.
It's a good thing we picked up his name because we were able to give him credit for that run.
I've got quite a few out there that I don't have names for that are not on the roster.
Hey, Chris, we're down here. We watch this play.
Yeah, they hand it off to Rocco Fry inside the 5, into the end zone. Touchdown, Hoover. Rocco Fry.
All right.
Picking his way through the secondary, and he scores it again for the Huskies. Jeff, you were saying.
All right, yes. I'm with Ben Ashley, formerly of the State School Building Authority, now with ZMM Architects, who are the architects on the new Clendenin Elementary School. But, you know, when you work for the SBA, I would call you all the time, Ben, and you know it. What's up with the Hoover Project? Where's the funding? What's up with the Hoover Project? And now you're here today, and, wow, it's all come together.
Yeah, it's super exciting. It's the culmination of 7 years worth of hard work from so many great people, so many wonderful people from the federal government to the state government to the local community, all poured their blood, sweat, and tears in making this dream a reality. And here we are tonight celebrating with a football game and a concert. Couldn't be any better. So proud of this state and how we all came together.
You were part of the process that said, hey, this is the property that's going to be chosen. You were with FEMA when they came up here and looked at it. What was the first, what was all that like?
Well, I had the opportunity to tour the school the day before Brad Paisley came and Senator Manchin, Senator Capito, so I saw just how bad the devastation was. Hated that I missed them by a day. I'd love to, walk through there with them, but, I just thought, my goodness, this is in terrible shape. We're going to have to rebuild. But from that day forward, we knew it was going to be a process because, of course, the federal government has their money, but they also have their hoops to jump through. So we worked through, all those processes. We had to come up with temporary facilities. We had to procure all the architectural engineering services, design services. We had to come up with the design and then build the project. So all those years, all those FEMA forums and qualification meetings and state meetings and county meetings and community meetings, all this, it all came together for this, and it was a lot of work. I can't tell you how much work it was, but it was just amazing, and so glad to be here.
Chris, and I'll ask Ben to explain this, but this was about a $118 million project. And Chris and Jared, he says, fortunately, the bids went out on this before inflation hit.
Yep.
And he said it would be, been about 30% more?
Yeah, 30-40% more. Other projects are suffering right now, and they're being supplemented, and they're cutting back. But luckily, locked in prices at the right time on this project before, the bad stuff hit. So, we're still missing some materials. I think there's part of the roof that needs to be finished, but all in all, it's a beautiful facility. We're very proud of it as a state, as a community, and just so proud of how everyone came together for this.
And ZMM obviously is the architect up on Clendenin Elementary. Give me an update there.
Oh my goodness, that's a really cool, inspiring school that's about to open. I think in December, maybe in the spring. It'll definitely be ready to welcome kids next fall. But there's some really inspiring spaces, some spaces that'll really motivate students and teachers to do really, really great things at such a young age. Be a big part of the outdoor experience there, indoor-outdoor classrooms and things like that. So super excited to see that one come across the finish line too.
And Chris, I still have his cell phone, so I still bug him every once in a while.
You call me anytime, Jeff. Always great to talk to you.
All right, guys.
Yeah. He's also a proud graduate of the University of Tennessee, so go Big Orange. New quarterback in for John Marshall, and it looks like Andrew Lyons is in there, and he got a rude awakening when he came to the game. As soon as he took the snap, he got swarmed under by the entire Hoover defense. So he's and the neat thing about him, you can tell it's a scrimmage because he's got white pants and everybody else has got brown pants, with the exception of one guy back there. Looks like Jacob Thames. Also, he's got white pants. So it's it's kind of a hodgepodge when you're in the preseason.
That's right. That's exactly right. Might be JV specific players that are going to be wearing the white pants during the season.
Well, that's where we are, and he's going to fumble the snap. He's going to hand it off to another guy who really wishes he hadn't. He got absolutely drilled in the backfield. Coming up with a stop that time for Herbert Hoover. See if we got a name on that young man. Nope, I do not.
We got some JV guys in now on both sides. We're getting down to the final minutes here of action.
Yeah, none of the numbers are in order. That was number 9.
How about we hit the student section?
Yeah, why don't we do that, Jeff?
Let's hit the student section here. Trying to get a clear.
Well, you're breaking up, Jeff. Maybe you need to move somewhere else.
Okay. What we here? It's a lot of bodies.
And I guess they're going to call that a game.
That's it.
When you're doing a scrimmage, you can do that. Jeff, do you have anybody real close there?
Let's try to get Joey Fields. How's that?
Yeah, let's go back down the field, see if we can get Joey Fields and talk to him. We'll take a break while you line him up, and we'll be back to wrap up our coverage here this afternoon on 580 WCHS, the voice of Charleston.
Trust the team that takes care of the herd. Marshall Orthopedics offers care for patients of all ages close to home in Tays Valley. Walk-ins are welcome weekday mornings from 9 to 11. With on-site x-ray, our experienced team is set to handle all types of injuries to get you back in the game faster. For more information or to schedule an appointment, call 304-691-6710 or visit marshallhealth.org. Marshall Orthopedics, taking care of the herd and taking care of you.
This is Tom Minturn, owner of Southridge Center Chick-fil-A and our newest location, McCorkle Avenue Chick-fil-A in South Charleston. We are excited to be open and serving you in 2 amazing locations. We're open 6:30 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. Monday through Thursday and 6:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. on Friday and Saturday. We are open to serve you our awesome chicken minis and chicken biscuits and lunch and dinner and everything in between. We also offer catering for all your birthday parties, office parties, and all your events. Visit kvcfa.com for more information. It would be our pleasure to serve you soon.
So the scrimmage portion of the evening is over. Down on the field, Jeff Jenkins has gotten a hold of Joey Fields. Jeff.
Well, he's not in too bad of a mood because he touched me on the back and said, pretty cool day here. There was a football game here, but so much else is going on, Joey.
Yeah, we were shocked we got to play a football game today with all this. No, it's awesome. You know, to be out here it's surreal. So we're excited for our community, obviously our team, our student body, our staff that have worked so hard to get to this point. Special day.
You'll look at the film and everything. You can tell how old I am. I just said film, but you'll look at it. How do you early assessment? How you guys played?
I thought we played hard. Obviously, probably the mistakes that you're going to have. Second time playing for the year in their second scrimmage, but it's all fixable things because our kids are playing hard and they have the right attitudes and they're being coachable.
What a crowd! Yeah. Wow. Some people have said, "Can Hoover really fill those stands up?" That's a lot of stands.
Yeah, you challenge Elk River community. They always meet the challenge. So it's a special day, unbelievable, and it's getting ready to get a lot better.
You want your kids to play with emotion. This was emotional today. The first home game in a few weeks will be emotional. How do you balance that emotion and be able to execute at the same time?
Oh, yeah, that's something that we talk about. Obviously, playing in an atmosphere like this, we were fortunate enough playing a state championship last year. It wasn't this, so our kids have been in that, and I tell them, hey, when you're in between the lines and the helmet strapped, it's about executing and playing hard.
And now we're going to see Brad Paisley. How about that?
Oh, it's exciting. Brad Paisley here at your home, at your football stadium, it's surreal.
And I said this earlier to one of the guests we had that, sports is about winning and losing. That's just what it is. But everybody's a winner here.
Yes, it is, man. And number one is this community. 7 years. And that maybe a lot of people thought it wouldn't happen, and now to see it, we get to drive up on this hill and have what they can call their school, their stadium, their facilities. It's giving me chills. It's a really cool moment.
Yeah, it is, Joey. Okay, appreciate it, buddy.
Hey, thank you very much.
Okay, thanks a lot, Chris.
Jeff Jenkins, thanks for your help today, and I'll tell you what, we'll take our final break, and when we come back, we'll wrap up our coverage here from Herbert Hoover. Back in a moment on 580 WCHS.
Home of the Herd Up Hens, Hens and Heifers. Only 9 miles north of Charleston in the Elkview Shopping Plaza. Breakfast served daily at 9 a.m. and happy hour drink specials from 2 to 5, as well as late night, 9 to midnight. We have the chicken. Come try our new updated menu items. Handcrafted burgers, smashed potatoes and appetizers. Hens and Heifers, located at 109 Crossings Mall Road in the Elkview Shopping Center. Visit our website, hensandheiferswv.com, or come check out our Facebook page today.
Gibson Family Dentistry has been serving the Elk River community for over 40 years. At Gibson Family Dentistry, we offer a comprehensive list of general, restorative, and cosmetic dental services to meet the needs of the whole family. Gibson Family Dentistry's goal is to assist each patient in achieving and maintaining long-term dental health and a beautiful smile. Located on Elk River Road across from Elkview Middle School, we are excited about the new Herbert Hoover High School since the Gibson Family Dentistry doctors and staff are Hoover graduates, serving the Huskies family. Go Huskies!
And we're back, down by 3 as Mike Couch gets under centerpiece. Might be a good time to call the end table around play. Here's the snap. Ooh, down he goes. They pulled the rug out from under them on that play.
Yeah, I'm sensing a theme here, Bob.
It's football season, and Pew Furniture Warehouse Showrooms has your furniture to enjoy every game. Recliners, sofas, and so much more at prices that are sacking the competition. Pew Furniture, Smith Street, Charleston. Online at pewfurniture.net.
Welcome back one final time to Herbert Hoover High School, home of the Huskies here at Husky Field. Jeff Jenkins, some final thoughts on what an incredible day we have witnessed here today.
Well, we do news, right? And they're day-to-day happenings in news, and a lot of it, quite honestly, is tragic. And on that day, June 23rd, 2016, was a tragic day. And tragically, I remember how many people died because there were 23 people who died in that flood.
Indeed.
On June 23rd, 2016. And to see it in this community, to come all the way back. Some communities have already bounced back some, but it took 7 years to get to this point here. And it's really cool, quite honestly, to see the culmination of this, to go from covering the flood to come up here today with all the positivity and all the excitement and all people who feel very blessed and very thankful to be able to see this whole thing through. And, thumbs up to Elk River Strong. Thumbs up.
Indeed. Jeff Jenkins, great job today down on the field covering this amazing historic event at here in Elkview. Jarrett, some final thoughts from you. What was your impression?
Well, to me, I'm kind of an outsider on this situation, right? I don't know exactly what's going on, but boy, did I learn a whole lot just in the past couple of hours today and over the past couple of months. There's so many stories. There's so many people you could talk to. The amount of people that are here is just impressive. The scale of this project is huge and so impressive, and it all got pulled off with a fantastic ribbon cutting ceremony, a terrific scrimmage. We're going to talk about football as the season goes on, but for tonight, we're gonna celebrate something that was so tragic from 7 years ago, and to come this far to this moment, to see this get pulled off here tonight, it really is truly special, and for me, something that I was very happy to be a part of.
Yeah, it was truly all about community and less about football today. We just had a little football sprinkled in with it. Speaking of football, though, we will open up our high school football coverage here on 580 WCHS next Thursday night, as Jarrett and I, along with Matt Guitar Murphy, will bring you the coverage of Winfield Hurricane on Thursday night from Redskin Stadium in Hurricane. Then Friday night we'll be down at Nitro at Underwood Field as the Polka Dots will take on the Nitro Wildcats, and we'll be off and running with the 2023 high school football season. Thank you so much this afternoon for joining us for this amazing event and listening into our coverage. By the way, I know a lot of you that probably would like to hear this are here at the event and can't, but we will post this as a podcast at our website, WCHSnetwork.com. Later on this evening, so you can download and listen to the thing in its entirety. And a special thanks this afternoon to Hollywood Jeff Petty, who kept it all together back on Virginia Street at Studio Control. We couldn't have done it without you, my man, and great job tonight. That's going to wrap up our coverage of the dedication of Herbert Hoover High School here this evening from Elkview. Now let's go live to Cincinnati and join the Reds in progress.